8 diplomats have already had their accreditation revoked by the Israeli Foreign Ministry, which said it made the decision in response to Norway's alleged anti-Israel conduct, including its recognition of a Palestinian state. Norway has called the move an extreme act and said it will have consequences for its relationship with the Israeli government. It comes as a Human Rights Watch report found Israeli soldiers killed at least 7 Palestinians and severely wounded 2 when they attacked a Gaza City home in December. The family members said there were no militants or weapons inside the house and that the family had no connection to any armed group. The Israeli military has not yet responded to the allegations. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia has called the killing of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran a flagrant violation of international law, although it has not made a direct reference to Israel. The statement comes amid rising tensions in the Middle East as fears of a wider regional war grow.
Has the German government learned its lesson from Nord Stream 2? Apparently, yes. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz paid a surprise visit to Belgrade a few weeks ago to sign a major lithium mining deal with Serbian President Alexander Vučić in a bid to reduce the EU's dependency on China. Germany has ambitions to build 15 million electric vehicles by 2030 to keep its automobile industry afloat, which the German economy is largely dependent upon. But widespread protests are planned across Serbia this weekend, with more than half of the Serbian population rejecting plans to mine in the Jadar Valley. These plans are not only controversial due to the environmental cost of mining, but also because of the politics. EU countries such as Austria, Portugal and the Czech Republic have large quantities of lithium in them. So it seems that the EU just wants to keep the dirty work outside of its own backyard. Liv Stroud in Berlin for Euronews.
A third teenager was arrested in the foiled terrorist attack planned against Taylor Swift's Vienna concerts, which has not been considered as an isolated event, but as a part of a bigger pattern, according to security experts. A new generation of young jihadists is rising as a result of online radicalization and poses a major threat to Europe.
Es ist Teil eines größeren Musters, was in den letzten 10 Monaten sich sehr rapide entwickelt hat, was aber fast nahezu unberichtet war. Also wir haben in den letzten 10 Monaten 6 erfolgreiche durchgeführte Anschläge von Dschihadisten in Westeuropa gehabt, 21 versuchte oder vereitelte Anschlagspläne. Also insgesamt 27 entweder durchgeführte oder geplante Anschläge in Westeuropa. Das ist mehr als 4-mal so viel wie 2022.
Security authorities in Berlin agree with this conclusion. The German Criminal Office registered an increase in threats over the past 2 years. Terrorist organizations are trying to recruit more people online, which is a dangerous development, according to experts.
Sehr gefährlich, weil ihnen eben die verschiedenen Kanäle mitteilen, dass es ihre Pflicht sei, nicht nur von diesen Sachen überzeugt zu sein, sondern diese Sachen auch in Handlungen umzusetzen, sprich eben Menschen anzugreifen, einen Krieg zu führen. Das heißt, jeder, der radikalisiert ist und aus diesen verschiedenen ideologischen Strömungen kommt, ist auch ein potenzieller Attentäter.
Austrian police are questioning 3 people about the planned attack against Swift's concerts, as they found explosives and chemicals. According to their information, the suspects had planned a suicide attack.
Protesters demonstrated outside the Bulgarian parliament to denounce a controversial legal amendment adopted the day before, which bans talk of LGBTQ+ and so-called non-traditional sexual choices in schools. Feminist LGBTQ+ and other rights groups organised the protest to call for a reversal of the amendment which bans what its supporters call LGBTQ+ propaganda in schools. On Wednesday, Bulgaria's parliament approved the amendment to the country's educational legislation. The amendment bans what it calls the promotion, popularization, and support of ideas and opinions related to non-traditional sexual orientation in schools. In the past, EU member Bulgaria has been criticised for violating the rights of the LGBTQ plus community and has been urged to guarantee its recognition and protection.
What started these right-wing protests? Misinformation surrounding the murder of 3 young girls.
I won't shy away from calling it what it is. Far-right thuggery.
Last night in towns and cities across the UK, though, thousands of anti-fascist protesters outnumbered right-wing groups. But the anti-immigrant sentiment has arguably been bubbling under the surface for many years. It led the Conservative government to propose plans to fly immigrants to migrant camps in Rwanda and to put them in barges like this one off the coast. The Labour government has now scrapped these policies, calling them gimmicks and a waste of taxpayer money. For now at least, those inside Number 10 will be extremely relieved that anti-fascist protests have helped quell recent racist unrest. But the new government now has to pick up the pieces after years of conservative anti-immigration rhetoric and failed policies, which ultimately heightened tensions. All eyes will now be on the Prime Minister and how he chooses to navigate this political tightrope.
There is a difference between responsible politicians and irresponsible politicians.
Dr. Nigel Fletcher is a former advisor to Prime Minister David Cameron and believes Labour must now do what the Conservatives couldn't and take meaningful action around migration.
Labour not only have to solve it, but also solve it in a way that is markedly and demonstrably different in tone and substance to how the Conservative government were seeking to respond to it. Because if they continue with some of the rhetoric and some of the hardline policies that the previous government has, they will alienate parts of their own party.
The UK government has recently announced plans for a new border security command to tackle human smuggling gangs. This reflects the broader European struggle with migration. As the political landscape evolves, the challenge is to implement effective, humane policies that appease both sides of the political spectrum. Luke Hanrahan, Euronews, London.
Where there are tourists, there are pickpockets. This is also the case in Barcelona, where many visitors to the city end up leaving without a phone, wallet, passport, or even all three. Some Spanish citizens say the police are doing too little to combat the issue, so they decided to take matters into their own hands.
Bueno, nuestro modus operandi consiste en patrullar los andenes del metro o patrullar los autobuses y sobre todo conseguimos sacarle las caras, grabarle las caras y los publicamos en redes sociales, que es lo que más daño le hace, porque como la policía no tiene herramientas, porque el Estado no se las dota, pues nosotros lo que más daño les hace y lo que ellos intentan evitar siempre es que le saquemos las caras, y es lo que nosotros hacemos en redes sociales.
Guerrero says that in recent years, the pickpocketing situation in Barcelona has become even worse, saying that both theft and violent robberies have increased exponentially.
Voy a poner este pañuelo. Lo que queremos conseguir con este movimiento es el cambio de las leyes para que a los carteristas robar una billetera o un móvil no les salga gratis, porque ahora no les ocurre nada. Te pueden dejar sin tu pasaporte, sin tu dinero, sin tu móvil y no pasa nada.
A powerful 7.1 magnitude earthquake hit the southern coast of Japan on Thursday. The Japan Meteorological Agency said the quake was centered off the southeast coast of Japan's main island of Kyushu. A tsunami advisory was issued following the quake, predicting waves of up to 1 meter. Nuclear plants on Kyushu and Shikoku were checked in order to see if they had sustained any damage, whilst local media reported broken windows at the Miyazaki airport near the epicenter.
In suburbs to the north and east of Paris, more than a quarter of the population live below the poverty line. But the suburbs also house Olympic stadiums and swimming pools. Residents are right on top of it all, but rarely go to the competitions themselves. The Olympic Village is located in the suburb of Saint-Denis. Thousands of apartments currently being used for athletes will soon be intended for residents, but the initial figure has decreased.
La ville de Saint-Denis, concernant ce village olympique. Aujourd'hui, il est réduit à 20%. Dans cette équation, il y a quand même 80% qui seront à vendre et qui seront à vendre avec un prix excessivement cher. De telle manière à ce que les gens qui habitent ici, le quartier, ne pourront peut-être même surtout pas y accéder.
Et ça. Mais après, vous avez certains prix.
Some suburbs are trying to bridge the gap between the poverty of their residents and the gold medals won just a few kilometers away.
L'idée, c'était de leur permettre de vivre pleinement ces Jeux Olympiques.
They're setting up fan zones which organize sports and activities and broadcast the games live, all for free.
Discover the Euronews app. Stay connected anytime, anywhere. Get the latest news in video. Download the Euronews app.
Je recrute.
Je recrute.
Je recrute.
Tu vois ce qui se passe quand tu fais pas ce que je dis?
Je recrute.
Je recrute.
Parce que les plus fragiles ont besoin de nous tous. L'Armée du Salut recrute des professionnels, des bénévoles et des donateurs.
Story. Their own tragedies and their own triumphs. They laugh.
Heyo.
They cry.
Heyo. Sorry, Twitch is a bit broken.
They strive for the best.
And Giga is being silenced as we speak.
Together they have the power to
and I
make
don't
a
know
better
why,
future.
because they don't have the open mode turned on at all.
For every European, there is one channel. Euronews.
Twitch set
Feel
him
connected
as
to
a
Europe.
suspicious user and I cannot remove it. So that's what's going on. I've been trying to remove it. Nice! Alright, wait. Wait, you're showing. Alright. That's good. Something changed. I don't know what. Because I didn't change any settings in the last few seconds. But nice. Alright, that's fair. Alright, my man. Alright, hey, yeah. How are you doing? How is everything? Am I yellow? Am I looking a bit yellowish? I am looking a bit yellowish, not too happy. Also, I don't have my water. Give me a second. Everything sucks. Oh, come on. I fixed you and you're showing and you're not being silenced anymore and now you're being ungrateful. No, nothing sucks. Everything is great, right?
The headlines.
Everything is fucking great. Everything
Israel says it will no
incredible.
longer facilitate Norwegian diplomats in Palestine.
A major lithium mining deal between the EU and Serbia is being met with controversy. Does the EU want to keep its dirty work outside of its own backyard? In the wake of far-right rioting that gripped the nation, the new UK government has to pick up the pieces after years of conservative anti-immigration rhetoric. Barcelona residents fed up with pickpockets say the police are doing too little to combat the issue.
We have to silence this, unfortunately, because I have something more important to show you. And it's this. It's this, alright? We had a little military flex on our Victory Day, which was this Monday, so yeah, you're gonna be watching that for a while. Buy me a coffee, left Ukraine. What else did I see? YouTube is no longer in Russia. Saw that. What else did we see in the news? What else did we see? Big Ukrainian offensive currently ongoing. Very big. I've heard conflicting reports on the amount of soldiers involved in it. It started with like 300, I think. But today on Croatian news, I heard 1,000. So I've got no idea. Hey, yo, Vala, thank you for the sub. How are you doing? Turkey banned Roblox. Turkey banned Roblox. Alright, so that's also new. Why? Turkey. Roblox. What even happened in Roblox? Hey yo, Huck! How are you doing? Hey yo, hey yo! Oh, it says Turkey bans Roblox over child exploitation concerns. What's that? Turkish government imposed a ban on video game platform Roblox due to concerns about content that might potentially lead to child abuse. Access to Roblox and its links in the application markets has been blocked within the scope of issues specified in Law on Regulation of Publications Made in Internet Environment and Combating Crimes Committed by Means of Such Publications. What the hell? Hey, yo, Polly! Thank you for the sub. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Eventful week? Heck yeah, eventful week. Best political commentator? No. Dylan is starting his streams tomorrow. He's still on a break today, alright? He's starting his streams tomorrow. Today, you just have me. I'm sorry. They censored media about the assassination of Ismail Hania. Oh shit, I remember that. But like Roblox? Do they have... No, wait, they don't... Do they have TikTok? They do have TikTok. Wouldn't they just be banning everything at that point? Like if you ban Instagram for that reason? Because I'm pretty sure the news were everywhere. We respect the laws and regulations in countries where we operate and share local lawmakers' commitment to children. We look forward to working together to ensure Roblox is back online in Turkey as soon as possible. Nice. Nice. They banned Instagram for failing to comply with certain laws and public sensitivities. They have announced plans for discussions with Meta officials to address this issue. Why ban Instagram but not ban Facebook? Do they have Facebook? Why ban one but not the other? Because I'm pretty sure the rules are the same. So content that is pushed on Instagram is likely the same content pushed on Facebook. Like the platform is set up differently, but you know, I'm pretty sure they would have very similar rules. So yeah, that's senseless, but hey, look at Croats. We had Victory Day. We were drinking lots of very, very tasty Serb tears. So this is our little performance, our little thingy. You can't understand shit, but that doesn't matter, alright? What matters is that we had a Victory Day, and that's important, right? Fuck, now I'm gonna click on Twitter. Ukrainian military monitors the movement of infantry equipment through hacked online cameras. My dudes, I don't know if you've seen. I don't know if you've seen it. Fuck, wait. I'm gonna go here to like open my saved posts. Alright, here it is. But like, they don't need to be hacking stupid cameras. Russians are showing it themselves. There's no need to be hacking bullshit. Like, look at this. Look at this. Man just telling us where the Russian military equipment is going. It's a Russian. It's a Russian. Right? We don't need to hack shit. We just need to allow them to be idiotic. And luckily they're very good at that shit. Like, look at him being like, yeah, this is where our military equipment is going. You can exactly see what is going where. Yeah, look in the direction and also look at the landmarks here, so you can also like figure out where it is on the map. Genius. Fucking genius. Hacked cameras, my ass. Croatian beer. Which one? Which one? Victory over what? Over Serbs. Over Serbs. Victory over Serbs in 1990s. 5th August. 5th of August is the anniversary of Operation Storm. Do you guys know about Operation Storm? Are you guys knowledgeable about it? It was one of the best military operations seen in the universe ever. Genuinely, very, very well organized, and a very good outcome. Basically, what happened? Where do we have? Oh, here's Croatia. Here's Croatia, all right? This is the part of Croatia that was occupied by Serbs. It was this part, and then it was this part here. I mean, this part here. Now, what Operation Storm did is we kicked them out of here. We kick them out of here, and what happened when we kick them out of here is they collectively, as a country, shat their pants, so they also left this area. So, yeah. Now, Serbs will tell you that this operation itself was a war crime, but never trust a Serb, alright? Never trust a Serb. This operation ensured us victory and ensured that we are able to free our lands from the occupiers. So, things after celebrating Victory Day revealed we have a lot of young people who don't know what fascism was. Yeah, that too. That too. We're not really... We're not really good. We're not really good at controlling certain problems in the country. We never were really good at it, but I think we're getting worse somehow. It's almost incredible how bad we are at doing this, genuinely. So yeah, I don't know. I've gotten into Twitter spaces of let's say rather nationalistic Croats recently. And the takes on the entire situation with like Thompson concerts and everything, it was idiotic. It was idiotic. So yeah, overall, let me see. But yeah, Operation Storm fucking based. I hope to see something similar in Ukraine. HIMARS strike that destroyed the Russian convoy, causing dozens of casualties last night. Heck yeah, heck yeah, heck yeah. No side in the Yugoslav wars has done any great things. All came down to ethnic cleansing and expulsion. Hey, yo, Kim, thank you for the sub, thank you. Here's the way I disagree with that. In the Yugoslav wars of 1990s, there was a clear aggressor, the aggressor being Serbia. There was a clear aggressor. Now, war crimes are done in, well, both sides in almost every single war existing. That does not erase the fact that there was a clear aggressor. There was a side that was doing invasions onto foreign territory in an attempt to keep them under their own power. So Serbs specifically were trying to make true to their delusion of Great Serbia, basically. I'm not a big fan of the whole, I think Americans do this rather often, the whole thing with like, oh yeah, everyone in Balkan is violent. Everyone in Balkan did ethnic cleansing. Everyone in Balkan did war crimes during 1990s. I'm not a big fan of that view because I think it muddies the difference between the aggressor and the victim of an aggression, right? So yeah, really, really important to point out who started the war and who was invading foreign territory. Thompson concert is in Slavonia. We go in a VIP lounge. We could actually. We could. Let's see what happens. Last time I was at a Thompson concert, it was the one in Vukovar. It was the Vukovar one, and that was tiny. I was in like elementary school or something. I don't know. It was cool though. The atmosphere was good. But then also, I think I live because, I'm in the eastern part of Croatia and we didn't have Operation Oluja in this part. We had peaceful reintegration of these parts into the rest of Croatia. What happened as the result is that some consequences of this peaceful reintegration were later used to strengthen nationalism in Croats in the area, right? So yeah. So when I was going to the Thompson concert in Vukovar, a lot of people around me had takes on it that today I would definitely classify as, flirting with fascism. I'm gonna drag Americans into everything. I'm gonna be dragging Americans into everything. Hey, yo, Raptor, how are you doing? I'm dragging Americans into everything. By the way, Americans doing rather good recently. Are we all positive on Trump losing the presidential elections? Because I'm kind of feeling he's gonna lose. I don't really think he has that many chances anymore. I'm a bit positive on that. There's a clear bias, but the things all factions did under the guise of being justified was questionable at best and horrific at worst. I would agree with that. Just genuinely not a fan of commenting on wars without pointing out, that there were sides who had a just reason to enter the war. I think to me, it's comparable to, how people enter the conversations around World War II specifically, for example. And then very often you will have people commenting on, for example, the crimes of the Red Army while they were liberating us from Nazis. So while it's all right to point out the crimes that they did, absolutely, and God knows they did a lot of shit in Yugoslavia, which was one of the reasons behind the Tito-Stalin split, right? The crimes that the Red Army did against civilians in Yugoslavia. So while it's all right to acknowledge that they did war crimes, I think it's also rather important to always acknowledge who they were fighting against and who was the aggressor in the situation, because very often the conversations about the war crimes of one side are used to justify the other side in the war. And very often when people do both sides same thing, they're doing it to wash the guilt from the aggressor. So I think it's rather important to point it out. Wait, where was I? The first couple of concerts of my young life were all Thompson ones. Yeah, same. I'm also close to my 30s. Yeah, my parents loved him. My parents absolutely adored the man. My aunt still loves the man so much. She has her grandchildren now, and she's teaching grandchildren, we're talking 3 to 4 year olds. She's teaching them Thompson songs. Literally, how normal grandparents let their grandchildren listen to baby songs and bullshit. No, she plays them Thompson. They dance to Thompson. It's wild to see. But then also she used to be living in Chile, and I don't know how much you know about the history of Chile. as the place, but it was under Serb occupation for a rather long time. And she's, she's carrying a lot of trauma from the war times, so I can kind of even understand it. I can feel like, yeah, all right, I see why you're so into Thompson, even though it's a bit weird, but like, I see it. We freed 100 plus hostages with only one of our soldiers dying. Nice! Oh, that's some good organization. Planned it yourselves? That's impressive. Whoa, wait, that's impressive. You're positive Trump's losing? I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that. Because I used to be rather worried about it, but I think lately, it's gonna be alright. I think we're gonna be alright. Also, apparently Kamala picked a proper vice president. I don't know if I've ever heard of the dude before, and I can't remember his name now, but he seems based on the topic of Ukraine, so when commenting on USA politics, I'm a very one-issue commentator. Like, I care what they are saying about Ukraine, and that's about it. Counter-terrorist mission in Uganda. Oh, damn. Flew from Israel to fucking Uganda for that. Hijacking of an international civilian passenger flight operated by France between Tel Aviv and Paris. Oh, the aircraft was hijacked by 2 Palestinian terrorists and 2 German terrorists, who diverted the flight to Libya and then to Uganda. Oh, alright. 248 passengers. Terrorists took hostages with the stated objective of compelling the release of 40 Palestinian and affiliated militants imprisoned in Israel, and 13 prisoners in 4 countries. Oh, and then over the next 2 days, 148 non-Israeli hostages were released and flown out to Paris. 94 remaining ones continued to be held as hostages. Man. Israeli transport planes flew 100 commandos over 4,000 kilometers to Uganda. Over the course of 90 minutes, 102 of the hostages were rescued successfully, with 3 having been killed. Oh man. The Israeli military suffered 5 wounded and 1 killed. Man. Oh, the older brother of Benjamin Netanyahu. Oh shit. Oh man, unlike Bibi, he's a national hero. Oh man. Oh, now Israel received support from neighboring Kenya, so Amin subsequently issued orders for Ugandan military to kill all Kenyans living in Uganda, leading to deaths of 245 Kenyan Ugandans and the exodus of around 3,000 Kenyans from Uganda. Holy shit. 3,000. Bro, that is a lot. That is a lot. I'm impressive though. Estonian news? What's Estonia doing? What did I see on Estonia? Where did I see Russians crying about being kicked out? Was it Latvia actually? I think it was Latvia. Who saw it? One of them posted on Twitter and everyone was retweeting it, and it was rather funny. He was like, I've lived here for, was it 50 years, I think. I've lived here for 50 years, he goes, and I was using Russian all this time. I just never needed to learn Latvian. Why they're asking me to learn Latvian now? 50 years. 50 years living in a country. Hasn't learned a fucking language. 50 years. Can you imagine that? Bro, like, we bully people here, where they've been living in, like, Germany for a year and they can't speak German at all. We bully them. We're being like, damn, you're giving a bad name to our immigrants because you are refusing to assimilate to German society, right? These fuckers live in Latvia for 50 years. Can't speak basic Latvian. 50 years. He goes, oh, I've been watching Russian TV, I've been listening to Russian radio, da da da. The fuck? Just go to fucking Russia. It's not like you're gonna know the difference. Just go to Russia. What are you doing here? They're talking about that. Very similar to Serbia. Very similar to Serbia in that regard. Because Serbs had a little thing recently. They had a little poll. I keep on like lowering my light here because previously there was light coming from the window, the sunlight, and then the sunlight was too strong. And then I needed to make these lights strong to like be showing on camera because otherwise you would only see like the back wall being full white. And now the sun is getting like lower and I need to keep lowering this shit. But yeah, it's very, very similar, I think, to Serbs, the way Russians do this shit. Because Serbs recently had a poll and they hate the NATO states. They have the idea that NATO states are rotten in morality. At the same time, they want to move to NATO states. So I thought that was rather interesting. They're like, oh yeah, we hate them. Disgusting, disgusting, horrible examples of humankind. I want to go live there. I wish I could be living there. Shit ton of daring military operations and covert operations by the Mossad. Yeah, that too. I mean, Israel has been in a rather specific situation in its short lifespan. A lot of us have not been building a country in similar situations, right? Are people, when they come back home after 3 months spent in Germany, как se ono kaže na našem, oh shit, they do the thing. Have you noticed? They do the thing which is like, ah yeah. When you ask them something, they were like checking the prices. They ask, oh, how much does this cost? And you tell them, and they're like, ah, yeah. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? The fuck are you doing? Shut up. Shut up. Had one recently come to to my workplace, and he was like, oh, I'm looking for how do you say that in Croatian? Tankstelle? And I'm gonna kill you on the spot. I'm gonna kill you on the spot. Just right here. They will continue to despise us even after they move here. Yeah. They're gonna like be where you are and still hate on you. It's like, you remember that interview of that Russian old man living in, was it UK? I think it was the UK. And he's old as fuck and he's basically rotting in place. And he's like, yeah, this country has given me free medication and bullshit. I hate it so much. This country gave me free healthcare and it gave me the best doctors and I could never get this back home. I hate being in this rotten part of the world. What are you doing? What are you doing? Just go home. Rot in Russia. Show the Holocaust survivor hostage showed hijacker a camp registration number tattooed on his arm. Boise protested, I'm no Nazi. I'm an idealist, oh man. Oh man, what the hell? Who's holding them anyway? Yeah, proper. Wait, what is going on with Estonia? Belarus authoritarian president pardons German man sentenced to death on terrorism charges. Why is this showing in like Estonian news? It's not even Estonian. This has nothing to do with Estonia. Look at them being like, oh yeah, what's new in Estonia? Yeah. This. Do we think Belarus... Do we think Belarus shat itself collectively because Ukrainians are invading Russia as we speak? Lukashenko being like, oh shit. Oh man, he is scared. Oh, my man is scared. Mama's terrified. Well, that's alright. That's alright. Some Polish nationals were protesting the Nigerian government in Nigeria by waving Russian flags. Oh, I have not even seen that, but ridiculous. The second you place hands on a Russian flag, the second like you are seeing it wave above you and you allow that, I think whatever you are fighting for should be immediately ignored. Right? That's it. Like, your words become useless. I don't care what you're saying. You could be the most educated person in the universe. I see the Russian flag waving close to you. I'm like, eating shit. Like, eating shit. That's that. Well, I had wait, what did I have saved? Orban? Fuck Orban, I don't wanna be watching Orban. Where did I have the invasion one? Nah, I had the NAFO convoy. You don't want to know how much police messed up here yesterday? What happened? What happened? Let me know. I am very, very interested. By the way, saved some shit. Saved Ziga's poll report for July. I saved it because I wanted to show you. First thing I wanted to show you is that Germans are growing in. Germans are raising their support basically for Ukrainians. There was a documentary shown on German television, and now half of the July donations came from Germany. So congratulations, Germans! Holy shit! Like, look at them. There's a new fundraiser for Starlink, so I think that's also cool. So $20,230 was raised for 80 terminals, and they still plan to buy 122 Starlink. I'm actually gonna give you a link to the report if you want to be looking at it yourself. I get it in the mail, and then I just open it in the browser. And then there's also an A for beer if you want to be supporting the 93rd Brigade. So yeah, I would also recommend that. Look at it. Look at that shit. Come on. It can be really, really useful. And also, apparently, look, the drones that you have helped fund have been used in downing the Russian helicopter recently. If you've seen that video of a drone attacking a helicopter and then the helicopter goes to shit where it belongs, your donations helped. All right? Stelenko approved it. So, yeah. You did your part. You are a hero, and I hope you feel as a hero. And I hope it motivates you to, see yourself in an incredible light, and also keep on helping, because we are actually doing something. Wait, there was police right next to him, for fuck's sake. Wait, did I not? Wait, though, I gotta Google that shit. Operator. Why even? Oh, charges of rebellion, sedition, and misuse of public funds were brought against him and other members of the Puigdemont government. He fled to Belgium, and European arrest warrant is issued against him and the others. At the regional elections in 2017, his party was second. Oh, man. He was arrested in Italy in 2021 and then let go. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, your people are interesting. Sorry, the problem is that he held the Catalan independence referendum, but he wasn't allowed to hold the referendum. So because he wasn't allowed to hold the referendum, the Catalan parliament declared independence in 2017, and this resulted in the Spanish government imposing direct rule on Catalonia, dismissing him and the Catalan government. And then the charges were brought against him. Man. Shortest lived country in the entire history of humanity. Catalonia was declared a country for 8 seconds. To be fair, if they were allowed to exist, maybe they wouldn't have crumbled so quickly. They kind of had the world against them. Or Spain, which, you know. Russian FSB detained a resident of the Kursk... The Kursk People's Republic, who shot a burning column of the Russian occupation army. Oh, man. Oh, man. What the fuck are they even doing? Have you seen which one of them was it? One of the Twitter dudes, one of the pro-Russian Twitter dudes, yesterday he posted all happily that like missiles are being sent to Kursk. Like they're going to bomb, not the city itself because it's still not occupied by Ukrainians, but they're going to be bombing the areas currently occupied, which is like a bunch of villages with a bunch of civilians still there, and they were bragging about going to attack them with missiles. It requires a strong level of cope to present bombing your own country as a victory. That was like legit weird. If the NATO banner actually hangs over Kremlin, it will. One day it will. One day it will, right? We're giving so much cash money. I swear, we fucking deserve it. Okay? I want to see one dog above the Kremlin. Just one of them. Just a single fucking one. Gonna put him there myself. We successfully bombed our own troops on our own soil to prevent Ukrainians from advancing. Yeah. It's so weird though, because like the dude was so happy about it. He was like, "Look, these are new gifts for Ukrainians." The fuck do you mean new gifts? You're gonna be killing your own civilians with it. What are you doing? You haven't even evacuated. Plus, can we talk about how they haven't even fucking evacuated? Like they started evacuations way too late. A bunch of people are just there? A bunch of civilians just like that? That is such a weird thing. The Russians going around. Like, have you seen the video of that one Russian just going around, just like filming, "Oh yeah, we are currently under Ukrainian occupation." Like, I understand, you know, Ukrainians are fighting against the Russian military, so they won't kill a random ass civilian. But still, though, why has Russia not evacuated? That is just... And then later they were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna give people cash money if they do evacuate." But like the cash money amount is ridiculously low. I've seen Serbs mocking the amount of money. Serbs. Not how poor Serbs are. Not how fucking poor Serbia is as a country. And they're mocking Russians for the pennies they're getting to leave their own homes. I don't know. I feel like, you know what I mean? When Serbia is mocking you. When Serbia is fucking mocking you. I feel you should maybe be thinking about your actions and reactions and the situation you have created around yourself. When Serbia is fucking mocking you. Serbia, out of all countries. Just, Oh, Arthur, did I open his video? Fuck, I wanted to open it. Do I have it? Do I have it? Do I have it? No, I had it in recommended. Here he is. Here he is. But I loved, you know what I loved seeing? Ukraine occupies Kursk. What's next? Day number, what is it? 898 of the 3-day special military operation. Ukraine occupies Kursk. What's next? Magical. Magical. Ukrainian soldiers are not there to go full barbarian. True. So it's like, we know.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back.
You know what I mean? Like, we know. But Russians have spent years talking about Ukrainians being, well, basically the modern day Nazis. Going, "Oh yeah, Ukrainians have been killing Russians all of this time, banning Russian language, trying to destroy the motherland." And now these same Ukrainians are invading your country and you're not evacuating your people. Like, you know you've been eating shit this whole time. You know you've been eating shit. It's embarrassing. third consequent day, we are listening on Twitch to Russian civils whining in their Soviet TG channel how everything's bad. Man, I also want to be listening to that. Oh, fucktards making stupid ass videos. I saved a couple of them. Oh, that is so silly. Oh, when they cry though, makes me feel good. Makes me feel good. I'm like, yeah. Fuck yeah, deserve this. Deserve this. I wish the entirety of Russia could feel that way. Fuck them. All in voice message. Oh. Maybe Ukraine should take a couple hundred Russian civilians hostage. UN will immediately support them again. Oh shit. If Russia doesn't retake this area in a month or two, then it will be seriously disconnected for Vatniks to claim that Russia is holding back. I'm kinda though scared of that. I'm a bit scared. Wait, where have you been listening to voice messages? I want to be listening to them for good night's sleep. I'm kinda scared because I'm an idiot. I cannot comprehend what Ukraine is attempting to do with the invasion. Like, embarrassing Russia? Sure, it worked. Russia is embarrassed. Forcing them to relocate some of their troops? Yeah. Capturing a bunch of prisoners of war, some of which I've seen guessings are the rich boys, because they wanted to do military service inside Russia because, it's like safe area. So they paid to do military service inside Russia, and now Ukraine hasn't captured, which they might be worth quite a lot when it comes to prisoner exchanges. Also good. But do we hope to keep it for longer? What do we hope to do? Do we hope to keep it for longer? Do we hope to what are we trying? I don't know what we are trying. And kind of I'm happy we don't know what we are trying, because it means OPSEC is really good. It means Ukraine is really, really good at keeping this mission, the goals of this mission and the scope of this mission somewhat contained, which I think is all right. And also, I know people have been guessing whether or not, USA knew about this mission in advance, whether the White House knew what's going to happen. I feel they didn't, because I feel if they knew, we would know what's going on. All right? Bastards have leaks every once in a while. Someone would be having all the information at this point. We don't have any information. No one seems to have any information. Personally, I'm guessing USA had minimum info, absolutely minimum info. I don't trust the bastards. I don't trust the bastards, all right? Thanks to all the moderators of this channel for them getting rid of these Ukrainians. Oh man, while listening to them online. Oh, they have no idea. They're just going around crying. That feels good. We are reaching the tail end of Russian stunlock. Ukraine sent around 1,000 troops. That's not enough to hold even a small area. I could agree with that. Yeah. From the start of this mission, it's been interesting to try and figure out what's going on. It's been interesting. I'm still genuinely interested in what even is the longer term plan of this. Do we do a referendum? Do we get it as part of Ukraine? Let's do that. But yeah, I don't feel like they are going to be able to keep it for much longer. But then also I'm kind of interested in how many troops and how much equipment Russia will have to be using to, try to liberate itself. And what sort of an effect this is going to have on other parts of the front. What's the end goal? I have no idea. I trust Ukrainians, but I have no idea. Expanded the combat zone in Kursk to 430 square kilometers. They also managed to destroy a Russian column near the city of Rilsk, which was most likely moving to reinforce. How are they so successful? How are they doing so well? Hey, yo, agent, how are you doing? According to military analyst Yan Matveyev, an entire battalion was destroyed. This is one of the bloodiest and most massive strikes in the entire war. FSB officers detained a 48-year-old resident of the village of Oktober. He was accused of filming the aftermath of the attack by the Ukrainian armed forces and passing the video to a representative of a Ukrainian Telegram channel. Nice. In the morning, a video appeared which shows a column of Russian soldiers destroyed by the strike. The man was found after publishing one of these videos. The detainee said that he sent the video to Ukrainians on assignment, and in return he was promised money and citizenship of one of the NATO countries. Oh, nice. Russian authorities denied the successes of the Ukrainian armed forces. Have you seen that one woman screaming on the street about how everything they are shown on the news is a lie?
Valor 48 redeemed change the flag. https://www.youngpioneertours.com/wp content/upload/2020/03/Ukraine trident.jpg.
Nice. Nice. Wait. Well, let me put on the flaggy thing. Let me put on the flag. Oh shit, where's my chat paused? Oh no, there's a lot of messages I missed. Diversionary attack trying to force Russia to shuffle troops. Nothing more. I'm kinda... I don't know if it's copium, but I'm hoping that we see something a bit different. Something a bit, how to say it? Give me a second to write this because I can't think and count my zeros to make the background transparent. I'm hoping that we see something more damaging to Russians in the long term. Draw out Russian fighter jets and shoot them down, bring HIMARS into range of some new targets, and draw Russian forces back to the border and out of Ukraine proper. Could be. One nice meat cube. New meat cube. I have not seen fresh meat cube videos. I did see unloading. Someone was unloading one of the trucks. I remember this specific video. Have you seen the video of like Russians driving away in their little vehicle, and the drone is following them, and a dude in the vehicle sees that the drone is following them and like gets scared, and he wants the vehicle to go faster, so he's just like taking the dead bodies of soldiers and dumping them on the road to like go faster. Because I've seen that one, and yeah, a second army in Kursk now. Hell yeah. Don't want to ceasefire anymore with Kursk situation. Yeah, that too. It's like, do we freeze the battle lines? Because Putin was all about freezing the battle lines. So like, do we? But also though, don't know if you remember, in like 2022, I think, I have not spent time to look for the video. In 2022, Vlad Vexler made a video in which he was talking about Russians being a bunch of idiots. And in it, he starts the video with saying that Russians, an average Russian, reacted to the Russian invasion on eastern Ukraine the same way an average Russian would react if the area of Belgorod was given to Ukraine, right? Because the Russians simply still have not moved away from their views of Russian empire in a way, so they like generally don't really care where the borders are. Basically what I'm trying to tell you is that I do assume some Russians would be agreeing with the idea of giving over Kursk to Ukrainians, just because they're dumbasses and they don't give a shit and they just want to win this war and they don't even know what winning the war means. Nuclear power plant. I did see the guesses for that. Like, I don't know. They're guessing that Ukraine is gonna try to. I saw people being like, "Oh yeah, Ukraine's gonna take the nuclear power plant and then try to trade it for ZPP," which, no, it's Russians. I don't know if Russians would be open to that idea. If you were at a war with a logical actor, I do see how that might be something you can do, but like, I very much doubt that Russians would be open to dealing in anything, you know? They're gonna betray you no matter what you do, so I don't know. The most damaging thing they could do is destroy the gas pipeline station near Syria. It's responsible for the gas deliveries to Hungary, Austria, and some other countries. Oh shit, I wish that happens. I wish that happens. Yeah, that might be good. Hey, yo, Slippers, how are you doing? Finally time for Finland to liberate Karelia? I hope. But like, I've seen people calling for Finland and Japan and China to take back, and Poland, to take back what belongs to them. Basically every single time we've seen Russia being invaded by the Russian volunteer corps. So I'm not too positive on anyone really doing anything, despite the fact Russia is very weak. I don't really think anyone's gonna actually go and attack them, unfortunately. I'm an owl from Duolingo. Hey bro, I almost lost my 300 something day streak in Duolingo. Streak. Basically, I fully forgot to play for a while and then they gave me like an extra freeze to keep it, so Arthur said the gas pipeline is destroyed. Entire day yesterday in a shit war with Westoids, they feel sorry for Russians. Idiots! What if Putin drops a nuke on them inside of Russian territory? How would the world react to the use of such weapons on their own land? Actually, an interesting question. Are you allowed to nuke yourself? I legit don't know. Would they be allowed to nuke themselves? Like if each carrier starts waking up again or some shit, would they be allowed to just like drop a nuke on them? I guess they would. Because like we're not responding to them invading another country. I very much doubt we would respond to them nuking themselves, you know? So yeah, I guess they would. I guess they would be allowed to do it. Use of nukes to stop an invasion is literally the Russian doctrine. That too, fair. Yeah, they would just be like, oh yeah, we did this according to our own rules. So yeah, makes sense.
Happy Friday to you. After this video is done for me, the work week is over and I'm gonna allow myself a little alcohol-free beer. I hope you do also. But in Ukraine, in Russia actually, Kursk Oblast, things are crazy. Ukrainians have fully entered that oblast on Russian soil and it is the biggest foreign invasion fighting force on Russian soil ever since World War II. Because before, when Russian Volunteer Corps of the Armed Forces of Ukraine made their incursions into Russia, we were talking about 1 to 2 battalions at most, and the incursion usually lasted for maximum a week. According to
honest,
different Russian
I'm
sources,
hoping Arthur is
we
going to show us some
can
videos of
talk
Russians
up
crying
to
about it.
8 Ukrainian brigades,
'Cause I've
which
been
is
enjoying the
well
videos
over
of them crying.
10,000 Ukrainian
I'm seeing the
fighters
videos of them
on
evacuating.
Russian soil. Now, in this video, we'll go through every bit of information, every last footage
hoping we're
that
gonna
has
see
come
some of
out
them
of
crying.
Kursk Oblast in the last 2 days, so ever
You
since
can't
my
understand
last
where
video on it.
the
Let's
nuke likes to
begin
be
with
launched,
analyzing
so it will
Ukrainian
trigger the
tactics.
nuclear powers.
Now, what
Oh.
is different between this incursion into Kursk and 2023
Could fire
counteroffensive?
a small nuke
Well,
with
everything. First of all, the OPSEC. 2023 was
Nothing wrong
screamed
with
all
nuking
over
your
the
territory.
internet. It was hyped up, and then Russians built up huge
I'm hoping
defensive
the
fortifications,
Ukrainians managed to
which
evacuate
proved to be
before that.
quite effective,
But yeah,
nullifying the Ukrainian
if
counteroffensive.
Russians want to
Well,
be
in this
nuking
case,
the Russians,
we don't even know which
you know,
Ukrainian brigades and how many brigades are in Russia. We don't know anything. We only know what
I'm
the
not stopping
Russians on
them.
the ground have
I'm not
filmed
stopping them.
and
I
reported
I
and
feel
written.
the entire
This is
issue
all
of
we know
nuclear
because
fallout is
Ukrainians
going
are
to be
very
easier
silent.
to deal with.
Let's take a look at
if you
Ukrainian
know it's the
tactics.
result of Russians
Ukrainian
wiping
forces are
themselves
not
out.
rushing ahead. They are moving slow and with a plan. They bypass heavy Russian units and engage them from the rear or offer a surrender after droning them.
Yeah, that's the
They're
nuke,
bringing
of
in
course.
brigade after brigade to expand the battlefront without outrunning supplies and fire support.
Oh, by the way, I don't know how happy I am about him quoting David, because David apparently isn't really the best source on the thing. I've seen quite a lot of Ukrainians recently pointing out this account as being very dramatic in a way. 50 meters long fence and isolate Russia. That's what I've been saying. That is what I've been saying. If Trump loses the election in USA, what we need to do is take him, make him the president of the European Parliament, and then he is going to build a wall on the border with Russia. That's exactly what we need. A humongous wall on the border, nothing else. I fully support that idea. Just like build the fucking wall. Build a wall and, you know, have them on their side. And whatever they do on their side, they do it on their side. Wait, where was I? I think Russia would think long and hard on the decision given their current situation. They can't afford to trigger Article 5. Yeah, proper approaching from the rear. How are you doing, DP? Nuke is not a nuke. There's strategic nukes and tactical nukes. As far as I've seen, though, has NATO not officially said? Am I mistaken on this? Am I idiotic on this? I think NATO has officially said that even a tactical nuke can't be used. Like, even that, if Russia uses it in Ukraine, NATO is going to come in and evaporate Russians, basically. They didn't use those words. I wish they did. They used the more pussy version of this. But the basically, yeah, like not any sort of a nuke is going to be ignored. We should give Ukraine nukes just for gift. Yeah, that too. I agree with that. Is Kursk nuked? Unfortunately not. We're just cheering on it to happen. But unfortunately, yeah. Not yet. People just make differences between smaller ones and bigger ones to describe their use case. Oh, yeah. If Russians want to drop a really small one on themselves... yeah. Who's gonna argue against that? Atomic Annie. Oh. What? Damn. Do they have some of them? At least 7 survive on display. Oh no, they just have them in like museums and shit. Just existing, just being old as fuck. Oh, baby. Yeah, I feel it between April 1955 and December 1962. Holy fuck. Handheld nuke launchers. Holy shit. Encourage Russians to use that on themselves. That would be incredible. Robert Tsar bomb and put in some residents. it wouldn't argue against it. Ready for godišnji odmor? Good luck. Good luck. Mine ended. I'm waiting for the next one. Should be getting it relatively soon. So yeah, I'm trying to live. I'm genuinely trying to fucking live.
And yes, we do know from Russian sources that Ukrainians have an insane amount of drones up in the air and a very strong artillery support in the back. This is a combined arms effort into Russian soil. It is not an incursion. This is an invasion or a liberation, depending on where you look at it. Because in 1917 and prior, Kursk area and Belgorod area was officially Ukrainian land. So is it a liberation of the Ukrainian people? Ukraine has seized more territory in less than 48 hours than in the entire counteroffensive in the summer of 2023. According to the author of the publication, the Ukrainian offensive in the Kursk region has 3 key objectives.
How do you know?
The withdrawal of Russian troops from the Donetsk region. Of course, that is not going to happen. Russians are advancing in Donetsk very slowly, with very high losses, but they are advancing, and it is a huge issue for the Ukrainians. So this surprise attack in the Kursk takes the world attention away from Donetsk, takes the Russian attention away from Donetsk, and actually forces Russians to deploy huge amount of reserves into Kursk area, because if they don't, well, Ukrainians are just going to liberate more villages, sowing discord in the Russian Federation. That is definitely
I'm feeling, when we look at the 3 supposed objectives, withdrawal of Russian troops from Donetsk, I don't feel it's going to happen. Sowing discord in the Russian Federation, I don't feel it's going to happen. Promotion of the agreement and the exchange of territories during the upcoming negotiations, I don't feel any negotiations with Russians are useful, so I don't even know if this is what they were hoping to get. And I'm feeling, I know I'm biased and I hate the fuckers, alright? So I'm very, very discriminatory against them. But I'm feeling if anyone else is also discriminatory against Russians, surely it's Ukrainians. And they wouldn't, fall for the ideas of doing negotiations with Russia in order to, exchange territories under occupation. Russia is not going to respect any sort of a deal. Even if they do allow you to get a tiny part of the land that they are currently occupying, you're going to walk in there and it's going to be littered with mass graves of civilians that they killed while they were having to leave the place. I don't know. I don't feel Ukrainians would be really too trustful on the topic of negotiating with Russians.
We have these videos of Russian people being very surprised of how human the Ukrainian soldiers are. They're not even torturing. They're not even looting. What are these guys? Promotion of the agreement on the exchange of territories during the upcoming negotiations. Now, this is definitely very important. Things are slowly moving to the phase where there will be negotiations between Ukraine and Russia. And then you need bargaining chips. Kursk is one of them. Also, the Kursk nuclear power plant. We'll get to it. Russian military blogger Romanov claims that the armed forces of Ukraine have 25,000 up to 30,000 troops on Russian territory. Now, these are very brave claims. I would go ahead and claim 10 to 15K, so half of that, but 30K, this is a very potent force. And since we know now by the Russian videos, we know 2 brigades who are in it.
Am I deluded on this, or is 10 to 15K also quite a lot more than expected? Because I would have guessed less. It seems quite a lot.
82nd Brigade and 80 Brigade of Ukraine Armed Forces, which are both air assault brigades, very well mechanized with Western equipment, and they're kind of an elite brigade. So This is an elite fighting force with Western tech, with combined arms warfare,
then I saw
up in the air, with drone jammers.
Considering the
This
game,
is a full
I understand it could be
invasion
something
force. Now here is the
higher,
list
but like
of the brigades
10 to
that we
15K.
estimate to be in Russia. We don't know, nothing is confirmed by the Ukrainians. Well, Ukrainians are totally silent, actually, which they should be, because that was the mistake they made before the 2023 counteroffensive. Here is the list. 82nd Air Assault, Elite Brigade. 80 Air Assault, Elite Brigade. 22nd Mechanized Infantry, also an elite brigade. Very well equipped. Artillery Brigade, 103rd, 88th
really
Mechanized, Georgia Legion, and Special Forces. But as we can see,
organized
almost
resistance.
half of the brigades are mechanized. So this is not an infantry incursion like Russians did north of Kharkiv region, where fully infantry assaults. This is mechanized, with drones up in the air and artillery in the back. I'm like a broken record, but I cannot...
I wonder how much of their success is the result of them sending a huge number of people, and how much of their success is the result of just Russians being unprepared.
Stress enough of how big and well prepared this incursion is. Talking about the preparement of this incursion, it lasted up to 2 months. Here is a Russian description of what was going on, and
there's also, okay, look, I don't know if I've gotten too salty over the topic in the last few days, but the whole thing with like, oh, Russian anger at their leaders for allowing Ukraine to build up forces. I feel he's talking about like 2 Russians, maybe. I feel he's talking about 2 to 5 Russians, or 5 Russians tops. This simply isn't a big group. I feel most Russians, when they learn that their politicians, their leaders, their officials have been allowing Ukraine to be building up troops on the border of Russia to enable an invasion into Russia itself, I feel most Russians would be just saying, oh, well, I'm apolitical. I don't really have an opinion on that. And I feel this is where the conversation would end. I want to know how seriously I'm taking the idea of like sowing discord within Russia.
How the hell were the Russian authorities surprised by this if the Russian troops in the trenches opposite of the preparing Ukrainian forces knew about it and screamed about it? I'll read you the report, and this soldier is quite angry. Kursk direction. Who will answer? We rarely allow ourselves emotional posts when the issue concerns military operations. Still, while people are working on the front line, it is a thankless task to act in a single camp with the all-killers. However, the enemy accumulated forces for 2 months. For 2 months, all the information was sent to useless higher headquarters. There was enough time to make appropriate decisions. In the Kursk region, the lessons from the Belgorod sad and tragic experience were not taken into account. So the previous Belgorod incursions by the Russian Volunteer Corps, the experience from that was completely ignored because it happened again in Kursk. The price of this is the forces of Ukrainian formations that entered Sucha in the Koreanova, the very ones whom the Russian blogosphere laughed and said that Zelensky was preparing for surrender. So this guy is very salty because the Russian propaganda is something much different than the reality on the ground, which is that Zelensky is not preparing for surrender. He's preparing to invade Russia. Although Russian high command completely ignored the reports about Ukrainian armed forces preparing for 2 months, up to 8 brigades, I mean, this kind of fighting force you cannot ignore. It's just you see them all over the place. But they did. They managed to fully ignore it. And secondly, this area was not defended. It was defended. The defensive lines were actually built out by the Russians in the last 2.5 years, and they were super expensive. While Russians ask what happened to the 15 billion rubles spent during the 2.5 years of building 2 lines of defenses in the Kursk region, Ukraine expands its area of control relatively unchallenged.
Again, like I feel the Twitter analysts are asking this more than Russians are asking this question. Okay, if you round up all the Twitter little posters going, where has all this money went? If you round all of them up and you round up all Russians asking the same question, the amount of Russians is going to be like 10 times less. All right? Because they're not asking any fucking questions. They're apolitical. I very much doubt they even know what's going on. I doubt they know how much money has been invested in this. And if they know, I doubt that they would even be questioning it. I feel most of them would just be like, yeah, I don't give a shit.
Lines, dotted lines right here. That's Ukrainian territory, that's Russia, and these are the newly built out defensive lines that are so expensive, very, very expensive, and they were manned also. But I mean, it's Russia, it's super corrupt. So this money came down from Putin or whoever. Everybody took 10%, and by the time it reached those lines, the procurement officers or the officers who superseded the building also took 10%. And finally, a few ditches were dug, and now the Ukrainian troops just overrun it. I mean, we're gonna go into the videos, but there are dozens of Russian soldiers just surrendering. We have videos of it from these very same defensive lines. So completely useless lines. Very expensive and very useless. Ukraine advanced deeper into Russia. Well, the deepest units, the reconnaissance groups who are ahead of the main
Wait,
fighting
talking
force.
about the prisoner swap. Have you seen Russian opposition? Who did we see? We had two of them, Karamurza and the other one. Who was the other one? I can't remember his name right now, but he's Russian, so it doesn't really matter. But they changed their stance rather quickly. So the first press conference was all like, oh yeah, we actually need to help the citizens of Russia and we need to stop sanctioning them, poor little Russians. And then almost immediately after, like just a few days in between, they switched to, oh yeah, we gotta help Ukraine win. I thought that was interesting. I don't know where that came from. But yeah, a shift I genuinely did not see
are about
coming.
40 kilometers in Russia right now. In one day, than Russia in Donbass in the past 2 years, 32 kilometers.
Yashin.
So,
Yeah, that's his name. Thank you.
Yeah, that is it's a crazy fact right here.
He's the one. Is he the one? I'll make it my intention to not waste time reading about Russians too much. And now I'm not really educated, but I think, is that the one that was imprisoned because he was writing about the Bucha massacre? Because I think it might have been him. But yeah, had the whole speech. I think he's also the one who wanted to go back. Had the whole thing with like, oh yeah, I was exchanged, but I'm actually gonna go back to Russia. I wanna come back to Russia immediately. But it was impressive to me that he like switched his position rather quickly. They were in prison for years. Maybe they didn't really know what's going on. Yeah, that's true. I think there is a possibility of that. Possibility of getting radicalized in prison and then like going out and seeing what's actually going on. Yeah. And I would welcome that, to be honest. I would welcome some sort of push towards focusing on Ukrainian victory as the main goal of the Russian opposition, rather than constantly bitching about sanctions. I would oppose the shift. I would support the shift, and also I very much would support them finally acknowledging that Russians themselves are responsible. I'm just kind of fucking waiting for that to happen. Oh my man, I'm looking at your nukes conversation, but I'm stupid for that.
Also, an interesting situation, because now that there's up to 8 brigades in Russia, both sides are taking a lot of losses. Of course, Ukrainians are also taking losses, and we'll talk about it later. But Russians are also. And Russians are promised a lot of money by the Ministry of Defense. We're talking about $65,000 worth of money when they die in Ukraine in the special military operation. Kursk Oblast and Belgorod Oblast are not in the special military operation, so If these guys are deployed in the Kursk trenches and they were like, oh, luckily we're not sent to Ukraine, we're in Kursk, we're in Russia. Now suddenly there's 8 elite brigades fighting against you and you die, your family gets nothing. Nothing. Nothing is sent to their families because they did not die in the special military operation zone. They just died in Russia somehow.
That's cool.
It is a crazy situation. How are the local Russians, the civilians, reacting to all of it? Well, mostly it's panic, because 4 days later they see that the Russian government
it's
and the
mostly a way
Ministry
for
of
Russia to
Defense
save
are
money,
totally
really. It's not like it's
clueless
going
of
to
what
change
to do.
anything.
There is no force yet sent to fight the Ukrainians back. There is no force present. Everything that the Russians have is in Donbass or in southern Ukraine. There's nothing there. Only now they're mustering some forces. They're calling the Wagnerites from
prison.
Africa.
I saw
it will
that.
take some time. Locals
I
see
saw that.
it.
Wait,
they
I
see
saw
that
people...
the Russian Ministry of Defense
Has it been confirmed that it's being used? Because I saw people talking about it. Are we talking about the same one? The old prison? That there's a possibility that it is being used right now, but we can't know for sure. So like once Ukrainians reach it, only then we will know if it's actually being used. Is it the same one? Has anything been confirmed? Because if it has, I have not seen any new news about it. New news. It's a ridiculous thing to say. 68k per dead soldier, that's like 15 billion in total. Yeah, but like if they die in Russia, you don't have to pay. And then also if they die in Ukraine, but like, you know, you drive a tank over their remains and you can't identify them anymore, they also don't have to get paid. So I'm guessing, it's just rather easy to, you know, make a man go missing and then you never have to pay a single cent to his family, really. Can they prove he's dead? What if he's not dead? What if he's hiding somewhere in the bushes? You don't know? You don't know if he is. So can you get paid for that? No, not really. Great HIMARS attack on a Russian column? Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Man, this is going surprisingly well. It makes me concerned. It makes me concerned. Whenever things are going really well, there's a problem waiting. So,
no strong presence in the areas. So
really
it's full panic time. I mean, on the TV, the Russian propaganda says that we're strong and there's nobody who can defeat us. And then they look outside of the window and it's Ukrainian troops everywhere, speaking Ukrainian, waving their flags. So panic. Your world just came crashing down. As you can see in this video, gas stations have huge lines. There's gas shortages. People are evacuating, leaving their homes, leaving the areas, because they have been disillusioned about the Russian state as an entity. It's just the lives come crashing down as soon as the first Ukrainian tank enters your field of vision. Now, my friends, let me introduce you to the forces that...
I disagree with the disillusion. I think what's going on in their minds is basically, oh shit, Ukrainians have entered Russia and they are now invading and they are occupying parts of Russia. Well, fuck them. Fuck these Nazis. We need to go and fight against them. And that's that. I think that's basically what's going on in the Russian mind. I don't think a single one of them is like, oh, my motherland has failed me. Nah.
We're actually stationed in Russia, in the trenches and in the border areas to exactly keep this from happening, to keep Ukrainian troops.
At first,
in
I thought it was just
these
another,
are the forces right
Russian
here. You can see them. They're doing some
aerobics,
lifting up their arms.
Proper one.
I'm just kidding you. They're all laying down now, doing some push-ups. Oh, these are not push-ups. Wait a minute. They're surrendering.
Wait a minute.
Up to 40, 50 Russian troops surrendering to what? 6 Ukrainian soldiers.
The interviews are going to be incredible. The interview is going to be incredible. Have you seen that meme? Like, hey, Russian, do you feel like an invader? No. Why not? Where were you taken prisoner? In Kursk. One day think, yeah, same. Why waste resources on it? I'm still like, why waste resources on it? I'm still wondering why waste resources on it. But at the same time, I'm like, accepting, I don't know what the goal is, and maybe, you know, I feel if a random ass person can look at the situation and go, hey, going into Russia for a day would be a waste of resources, you know? Like in normal situations, you go there for a day, they chase you out, you take humongous losses, you might take a couple of hostages, you might take some prisoners of war, but like, it's Russia, they don't give a shit about them. So in a normal situation, I understand how it could be seen as a waste of resources, but at the same time, you know, Ukrainian military has a lot more information than any of us do, really, so I feel we can only really analyze the success of the mission after we know the fuck the mission is, because right now we have no idea. They're gonna pull troops from the other fronts. Yeah, Russians, yeah. It would be interesting to see the long-term effects on this. If Ukraine keeps troops at the regular front, they might defend a bit better, but it will never win them the war. They gotta take risk and go on the attack themselves. I do agree with that. They did need to switch up the situation a bit, so yeah, I do think this was likely a very well planned course of action that is going to create a change that might create good results, definitely. Prigozhin is alive and leading Ukraine in Kursk. That would be, I actually would love to see Prigozhin alive, leading Ukrainians in Kursk. Because, like, he would be leading them to Moscow this time, because he was retarded last time, right? This time he would go to Moscow. But before that, I bet every single cent he would go to Grisha's house and he would beat up that little piece of shit. Because Grisha has been selling his ass to Russians basically like before Prigozhin's body ever cooled off properly. Grisha has been selling his ass to Russians. So I would love to see Prigozhin just like take a look at the little traitor. Russia has no capability to do anything. If Ukrainians decide to stay there, nothing they can do about it. I don't know if I agree with that. Because I do feel like Russians, you know, in numbers, they're quite strong and they do still have a lot of equipment. But then also, we don't know how many Ukrainians are in Russia right now. We don't know how many troops they've sent. We don't know what equipment they have. So yeah, could be. Could be. I don't know if I would be that positive. But overall, in the entirety of the situation, I'm kind of scared of being too positive. Haven't thought about Grisha in months. I thought about him a few days ago because I saw him post on Twitter, and he was posting, and he plays that shit game. What's that strategy game he's playing? He made, or he reposted a meme of like that game, and then Russia and Ukraine, and it was cringe as fuck. But I remembered he exists, and I was like, damn, look at this little piece of shit. He's like alive. He's choosing to support Russia. He's supporting the regime. Bro. He's like, I don't know, like a fucking father figure. Prigozhin was his father figure. Got barbecued. And then Putin goes out and publicly says that Prigozhin was an old, idiotic drug user who killed himself. And Grisha's response to that is, yeah, Daddy Putin. What are you doing? The fuck are you doing? I don't know, little traitor. All Wagnerites, really. There's no, I feel there's no spine in a single one of them. But Grisha being the most prominent one, it's embarrassing. He turned 18 this April on Thompson's birthday. Oh man, wow, look. Good luck to him, I guess.
God.
He
This
can continue
made
Prigozhin's
my
legacy,
day
maybe.
when I saw it. It's so good. 6 Ukrainian soldiers
And also get
taken
exploded.
50 Russian prisoners of war. How is this possible?
He is alive. He's alive. He's posting.
It doesn't
He's
fit
not allowed
in my
on
head.
Twitch.
What?
He does have a Twitter account.
As we can see, they're treated very humanely. They're just put on the Ural truck, Kamaz truck, and driven back to Ukraine. I heard that the Ukrainians now have an issue because there's so many prisoners of war. Processing them and moving them and guarding them takes quite a lot of resource, like human time resources. Not money, but like professional soldiers have to keep their attention on these prisoners, which means they cannot fight. So it's really a problem for Ukrainians in Russia right now because Russians, they do like to surrender. Here we can see another exercise taken together by Russian forces and Ukrainian forces. In this physical exercise, we can see them walking. They practice walking to get their cardio in shape, and they're walking towards Ukraine. And when you walk like that, so your arms up, it's better for your cardio and body, so that's what they do by the dozens. These guys are just laying down, doing some stretching right here, and later they will walk towards Ukraine. My humor is super dry. I hope you're going to understand it. If you didn't, then these were prisoners of war from another angle, and they were being treated very humanly and being transported to Ukraine. This just then, today, this is today. So when you see it, this is fresh.
He posted
Russia
on Twitter,
mustered
so
a quick response force since they have no forces to send here. They must scrape together like territorial defense and anybody they can get, and they have gotten some. Let's see. Some Call of Duty visuals here, very cool.
I do love the translation feature they have,
and boom, what we
like
see,
that.
Russians have mustered a quick response
I think I'm just lazy to be using that and Twitter.
Convoy of hell, like it was.
You know, because like I'm already on Twitch, and then kick
Toyota Land Cruiser,
and then
very
Twitter.
sexy car.
I don't feel like doing anything else. I'm not even on Threads anymore.
Of course, in Russia, so far we see
It's
a
way
Japanese
too many
car and an
social
American
medias
car
existing.
mustered
There should
by
be
the Russian
one.
Quick Response Force.
We should have
then
one.
We see,
you know,
what is
just
that?
like
I don't know what that is.
why do we have so many?
Nissan.
There should be a single one.
Then we see
and
a
everything's
truck
on it.
And artillery, more Kamaz trucks. And what I really want to show you is this. Let's enjoy the visuals of the Russian fighting force. Loaf truck. Another loaf truck. Bukanka. Loaf truck. Loaf truck. Loaf. That's what they call it. Loaf truck. Russia restarted the production of these vehicles. If you look at this truck, what would you say? What is the how old it is? Well, what would you say if I say to you that this truck is 5 days old? It is produced brand new, looking like that. Right now in Russia, they restarted because that's all they can produce. Since it doesn't have any chips in it, it doesn't have any high tech in it. It's fully mechanical.
No, it's coming. It's
and
just fairy
it's
tale.
cheap.
I'm scared of them coming.
Loaf trucks. More loaf trucks.
Like it might be stupid.
Even more loaf trucks. An endless row of Bukanka loaf trucks. This is a fighting force that Ukrainians have not foreseen. Have never seen loaf trucks upon loaf trucks. Oh my God. Well, I hope they're FPV proof.
That was embarrassing.
I hope they have insurance. This video is taken on the field in the no man's land, exactly between Russia and Ukrainian border. And as you can see, Ukrainian soldier casually films his countryman's tanks with a triangle. Triangle is when you go to Kursk, that's the triangle thing on Ukrainians. And APCs and everything entering Russia. No problem here, just go. Nobody's defending that land anyway. Putin doesn't care about the people living next to the borders. So yeah, they're just casually driving across the fields and it's like, Slava Ukraini, we're gonna take back our lands which were occupied by Russians for 100 years.
Loaf,
and now, my friends, you have seen some information, some videos, footages, photos. I want to now give you an overview, a summary of what we know, what has been happening, what's the projection. So this is why I pulled you one of the best threads I've found about the Kursk Oblast. I read all of them, and I chose this one. So after this video, you know everything there is to know about the Kursk incursion up to today, 9th of August. Now that we have a couple of days to observe the new Ukrainian cross-border attacking to Kursk, I wanted to offer a quick assessment of what we know, as well as Ukraine's potential objectives and challenges it faces. Challenges, yes, because it's not all rosy. I mean, some people and some threads analyze how this was a super bad idea because Russians are actually advancing in Donbass.
I'm still not.
Let's read it. It appears yet again that Ukrainians have surprised Russia and observers in the West with their latest operation. Over the past 72 hours, we have watched as Ukraine has launched a significant cross-border assault into Russia's coast region. Initially viewed as another raid into Russia, similar to the previous Ukrainian operation in May 2023 and on March 2024, it has become clear that this is something different. Despite our ability to only see a small part of what is occurring in Kursk, there are several aspects of the new Ukrainian operation which are apparent. First, this is a multi-brigade operation. At least 2 Ukrainian brigades have been identified so far. So there's more, but 2 have been identified. 22nd mechanized and the 82nd air assault. There are both quality formations. It appears, unlike in the 2023 southern counteroffensive, where fresh brigades were employed, the Ukrainians have allocated experienced formations to this attack. Yeah, these 2 brigades are one of the best fighting force Ukraine has. Second, the Ukrainians have attacked with highly mobile mechanized force. This is different to the Russian dismounted attacks into Kharkiv in the recent months. A high level of mobility is essential to creating or exploiting gaps in enemy defenses and rapidly exploiting such gaps. Speed and shock action are vital. Third, the Ukrainians appear to have deployed a significant amount of air defense capability. At least 1 Russian fighter aircraft and 2 helicopters have been claimed to have been shot down by the Ukrainians. Yes, I didn't even talk about this at all, but Ukrainians concentrated 3 different abilities not connected directly to ground forces, which is anti-air defenses, not anti-drone, but anti-air. They're shooting down Russian air assets. Secondly, anti-drone defenses. We're talking about a huge concentration of drone jammers in a very small area, which completely forces Russian drones out of the sky. Number 3, Ukrainian own FPVs in huge concentration. What is going on? The tactics are crazy. Listen to this. What they do is they deploy and activate every drone jammer they have in the area, concentrating them and fully blocking Russian FPVs. Then they know the exact moment when they're going to switch them off, clearing the sky so their own FPVs can fly. The Russians don't know that moment. I mean, they could fly at that point, but they don't know the skies are clear now.
How are you doing?
Maybe they get 1 or 2 drones up in the air, but Ukrainians are now flying towards them with hundreds because the sky is now clear, not jammed, and boom, a swarm of Ukrainian drones goes. Boom, 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 they clear the area. They again jam the entire airspace and then send the ground forces to the areas that the drones just destroyed with pinpoint accuracy. And this is how they advance 10 clicks per day in this area. It's a very good tactic. There has been, as of this point, limited reports of Russia being able to use glide bombs or even large numbers of drones to counter Ukrainian assaults.
Am I allowed to open them on stream? Yeah. Fair. Like before and after Ukraine blows it the fuck up. Fair, proper. It does really look like a loaf of bread, really. When you think of those, like...
This is indicative of a more effective air defense environment for the Ukrainians than was created for 2023 counteroffensives. Fourth, Ukraine has penetrated a good distance into Russia on at least 2 axes of advance. Main and supporting efforts are unclear. However, the situation remains very unclear, and Ukrainian forces could be much deeper into Russia than we know. This constitutes the biggest advance by any side in the war since late 2022. Fifth, Ukraine has achieved surprise. This is an important theme, not given the obsession of some with describing this war as a transparent battlefield. This again shows that the battlefield is far from transparent, and that deception activities, good intelligence, and surprise are crucial elements of modern war. I'm not going to read you.
By the way, I stand by saying that USA has known the minimum on this situation. I am fully believing that if USA knew more, this would be leaked to Russians to some way. I fully distrust Americans when it comes to this. Got a call from a friend to go grab coffee. We ended up having 2 beers and playing go and seat. Oh man. My favorite thing is when, like, during the winter, you're like, hey, wanna go for a tea? And then you go with your friends outside for a tea, but then you drink tea with rum. I love doing that. I do that with my grandmother too. I love the Balkan tradition of intaking alcohol. And you really just don't need to. You just kind of want it. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I've been on a huge break for a while. I still kinda am. I'm still not really able to stream as often as I used to. Mostly because I'm trying to create my portfolio and to start looking for jobs when this year ends. So I'm really trying to prepare everything, so then when I do start looking for jobs, I could be having some sort of a field set up. So there's still a lot of work that I'm doing, but man, sometimes I'm at work and like I read a piece of news and I'm like, holy shit, I have to stream because we have to comment on this shit. There is no one normal around to be commenting on this with. I'd expect they saw them collecting troops on their satellites. Yeah, I have no idea. I guess they would. Like they have to be following everything, right? But then also like Russians themselves knew that Ukrainians are gathering troops on the border. And was that Arthur who said it? That Russians knew that Ukrainians are collecting troops on the border, and Russian soldiers were trying to warn about this, but like no one took them seriously. So now, you know, Ukrainians are advancing, and it's like, ha ha ha, told you so, bitches. USA made a statement saying Ukraine can do whatever they want and go in Russia if they want. I feel Sullivan has been like tied in the back. He's been left in some basement, tied to a chair, and that's that. He can't do his usual no escalation bullshit. Sometimes I'm at twerk. I actually cannot twerk. I learned that because I tried to twerk and I cannot twerk. I was trying to learn how to twerk and I can't do it. Wanted to actually practice more yesterday, but I had muscle pains from doing squats, so I couldn't. But I'm hoping to try again. Listen, I was playing Deep Pro Galactic recently. And if you play Deep Pro Galactic, you know that there's a new emote in it. There's a new dance emote in it. And they do twerking. And they do it beautifully. They're like, oh, they move so great. Download that game. Pay for that game to see the twerking, all right? So then I was like, fuck, I want to know how to do this. And it's actually really hard. It's actually really hard. I'm not sure what they do. I don't know what they do. I don't know what muscles they're using. What type of work are you looking for? I don't think we have much of choice in Slavonia. I'm going for a course on digital art right now. And then also I have recently gotten a response on the programming course that I wanted to take. So I'll see if I'm gonna start that now or if I'm gonna like apply for a later date. But I'm trying to find some sort of like a remote work. I feel in Slavonia that would be the best option for me, really, because there's not many other options. Part of me is like, I would join HDZ if I knew I could get a good job. But like the problem is, I know some people who joined HDZ to get a good job, and they got a state job, and it's not really good. You know what I mean? You know how people are always like, oh yeah, those people who work at like, who work in općina. What's that? Administrative shit. Oh, those people have it great. They actually don't. Their paycheck is around mine. It's not much bigger than mine is, but they do have to work on holidays. They do have to work on Sundays. They don't really have as properly organized free days as I do. I know there's a meme of them like having free days all the time. but they genuinely don't. Like, some of them do. The thing is, some of them do, but if you're the sucker in the firm who has to be online during the 3 days, like you just have to be there. You have to be there in case something happens. So there could be a situation where like the rest of the firm is just out there chilling and you're inside your shitty little office, not really doing anything but not being allowed to leave. So it's not really as good as I expected it to be fully honest. Also, I thought their paycheck was a lot higher. I thought their paycheck was like double the minimum wage. It's not. It really isn't. Also, talking about that, soldiers in Croatia, about minimum wage. Like, by default, they get about minimum wage. What I have learned is that if they go for travels a lot, it's like if you move around the country, then you do get a nice amount more. But like if you're a family man or whatever and you don't really want to be going to different parts of the country constantly, your paycheck's kind of shit, really. So yeah. All in all, company, Mono Software. Hey, I've heard about Mono because my friend's friend started working there, and apparently it's a great firm. She said, she made a comment on it, and I'll never forget it. She goes, oh, it kind of sucks at the start. And I'm like, why? And she goes, well, like when you enter your office building, everyone is in their office. Like everyone's doing their job at their computer, but they don't really hang out with each other. And for her, it was really, it wasn't something that she's used to because she likes hanging out with people a lot. So the idea of just like being at her computer doing work without talking to someone, to her, this was really negative, and she didn't like it when she started that job. Which for me, personally, if I had to kill 10 people right now to have a job where I sit at a computer and do little typing, I would kill 10 people. I wouldn't think about it. I wouldn't even ask you which 10 people. I would just start. I would just go out. Bro, it's... imagine. Just turn on your little PC and you do clickety-clack and no one's speaking to you. No one speaks to you. People like write you emails and bullshit. No one speaks to you face to face. It's perfect. Perfect. Fuck, wait, I didn't respond to so many of your messages. What's joining HDZ? Is it like joining the party in China? It actually is. It actually is, genuinely. I know you're trying to joke. It's not even a joke. It actually is. It's exactly like joining the Communist Party in China. Wait, where was I on this? Okay. Military stuff depends on your rank too, and it depends a lot. I know a man who's like, he's been in the military for quite a long time, but I don't really think he has any sort of a specific rank, to be honest. I think he's just chilling, to be honest. So that might be why he's still on sort of minimum wage. But it shocked me quite a lot. Because, it's like you always have this view of soldiers as, you're like, wow, I wish I could be like you one day, and you always kind of admire them. Is it just me? I grew up in a part that really idolizes the soldiers. It might just be me. But ever since I was a kid, there was always this sort of like deep respect towards the soldiers. And I always imagined that they have humongous wages. I always imagined that they have like a very well paid job and that we are basically treating them as, heroes. And then learning that they have around minimum wage. It's sad for me. It's sad as shit. They deserve so much more. He's basically there from the start. Stories told me about crazy people who come there. It's not surprised they don't hang out too much. Oh shit. Look, I would fit in. You rank up by default every 4 years. Oh, then he had to rank up several times because he's had the job for a shitload of time. So it's weird that he has a tiny little paycheck. That's rather weird. Did you climb as a kid on tanks? Oh, for a while we had we were going to visit the what's the word? There's like a museum site in Vukovar. And that was my actual like first time seeing a tank IRL. But the problem is that like when you've grown up with family who has seen the war, they do this thing where they share the trauma, they give you trauma, all right? And basically the first time I saw a tank IRL, I was fucking terrified. I was traumatized. My little cousins were like climbing around on it, and I just remember being like, damn, how are you having fun with that shit? Like it killed people. That shit killed people. Like to someone that was probably their last sight in life, that tank so close to them. Why are you taking selfies in front of it? How can you take selfies in front of it? Do you not feel weird taking selfies in front of it? And then I remember one of my cousins, because she was a kid, you know. It's expected for kids to be rather dumb. But she made a comment which was like, oh, when I was older, I wish I could be a soldier and go to a war. And I just remember like kid me going, holy shit. Like, man. But you know, she hasn't grown up around the same types of people, so I guess to someone like that, it might look really, really cool. To me, it was just like, man. No. Holy shit, no. I hope you never have to experience that. So that was, you know, that's my first memory I remember with like actually seeing a tank IRL. And it was just trauma. She's just like my dad, talking about politics all the time. Hey, my father too. My father too. Actually, I think my father, if Twitch existed, like 200 years ago when he was a young man, if Twitch existed back then, he would be the destiny of his age. He would be the fucking destiny of his age. Man knows so much about politics, and I don't even know how much. Because sometimes, like, I talk to him, and he knows a lot. But, like, he's not really good at using the internet. I genuinely, I don't know what his information source is. He's a cock. He's not a cock. He's not a cock, all right? No, that's different. But yeah, I'm genuinely like, sometimes I'm surprised because like he knows. I guess he has really good information hygiene. I don't know what's going on. He just has really, really good sources on shit. He knows stuff. Really, really surprising. Getting scars for life as a kid since 7th century. Yeah, basically. Oh, man. And it's so messed up because, like, you know, recently with Victory Day approaching and everything, it's just been family members over family members, like, hanging out together. And then it's always like 15 minutes of, hey, what are you doing? How's your job going? Oh, what's the weather like outside? And then they switch to, oh, you remember before the war? You remember the time before the war? You remember the time where, like, certain family members were still alive? You remember the jokes they would be saying? Oh, do you remember, like, that house that was still proper? And then the war came, and then the Serbs destroyed it, and now it's just a huge ruin in the middle of the village. You remember that? You remember that? And they just keep on talking about, like, the saddest fucking shit ever. Just, like, giving you trauma, feeding you trauma. It is wild. It is wild. I was in depression for, like, 3 days after that. I genuinely couldn't sleep at night. Like, I go to scroll Twitter, I see the news from Ukraine, and it reminds me of the trauma of my family. I just, like, cry for half an hour. That shit sucks. Glass Slavania. He could be following that one. I follow it, unironically. It's ever since I was a kid. When I was a kid, I learned how to read because I was reading Glass Slavania. And to the dislike of my parents, I liked the Crna Kronika part. So, like, they would give me, you know how they were, like, huge newspapers, and, like, little kid me, I would open them. It was in black and white still. I would open them, find the part about, like, people dying on roads and shit, and I would just like voice out the letters in every word, and they would be like, huh. Like, Gigi, you know how to read? Because I did learn to read very early, but still, like, it's a bit weird that you are a little child reading to us about people like dying in tractors or whatever. I still remember that one story in Glass Slavonia about that one woman who tried to make a Harry Potter potion and she blew up her entire house. You guys, have you like ever read it? I swear it was in the newspapers. There was a woman and she tried to make a Harry Potter potion, a magical potion, and she blew up her entire house. And I don't remember what was in the fucking potion. I remember toothpaste being one of the ingredients. But yeah, and for a while I was terrified of cooking because I was like, what if I mix up some shit that's not supposed to go together? And then like it blows up, like that woman blew up her entire house. Ajde da vidimo ko danas neće da čita novine. No, like genuinely, my grandmother would, she would come and she would be like, hey, let's go see, like who died recently. And then we would open the part of Glass Slavonia where there's, you know, people who have died recently. And I would read out the names to her. And she would be like, nah. And then she hears a familiar name and she's like, ho, wait. And she looks at the picture to check if it's someone she knows. And then if it isn't, like, I just keep on reading the names. So, yeah. I grew up in a very healthy way, as you can see. I'm really, really mentally doing fine. No major fire in Kursk. No official comments have been made yet. Oh, look at this. Oh, reminds me of Drava International burning fucking again. Look at this though. Nice. Why haven't they evacuated yet? What, like, what's burning? Substation? You can't evacuate a substation. Oh, they changed the spelling. You saw the fire the other day too? I was listening to the radio at work and they said Drava International is on fire again. And I laughed out loud because I thought it was a joke. It wasn't a joke, it was on fire again. How the fuck does it burn twice in such a short amount of time? Haven't we learned anything? Twice in like, bro, they still haven't fixed the damages from the last one. What the fuck is it burning again? I truly thought they were joking. I was like, oh damn, doing a joke segment on News News. No. They're burning.
The rest of it is a great analysis. And I can just sum it up right now that this incursion, as of now, the fourth day has been incredibly successful. There are Ukrainian losses, but compared to what Russians have lost.
Okay, I feel really bad for pausing ours, but listen. I was listening to a radio TV show once. It was the funniest shit ever. There was this woman, I don't even know which radio station it was, but there's a woman and she like, you call in and you tell her the news where you are in Croatia. You just tell her what's going on. And she's like, yeah, nice. And then people usually call to tell her the situation on the road. You know, like if there's a rush hour somewhere or if there has been an accident or whatever, you know, so she can, you know, release it into the public so people know where not to drive. And at one point, some dude called and he's like, there's like a road goes through a village and it bends a little bit. And on this bend, the man who has his private property next to the road, he has built a wall. So like when you drive your car on this road that is bending, you can't really see well what's coming from the other side because of this wall that he has built. The dude's like Trump in his own backyard, you know? So he's like, yeah, is it legal to build a wall on your own private property? And the woman is like, all right, we're going to call our sources and I'm going to let you know the answer to this in a few minutes. And then the next call is a dude who's like, of course you can build a wall on your own stupid property. Why would you not be allowed to build a wall on your own property? Like, it's idiotic to even ask this question. And she's like, yeah, okay, don't get emotional. We're gonna call our sources. I don't even know what her sources are. We're gonna call our sources and we're gonna get an official response in the show, right? And then later someone else calls and he's like, well, actually, I tried to build a wall on my property and they told me I cannot build a wall on my property. And then he lets it slip that he wasn't even building it on his property. Like, his property goes close to the road, but not to the road. And he was trying to build a wall on the road itself, basically, which is like few meters from the end of his property. And then another dude calls and he's like, you idiot, you are not building a wall on your property, but like on public property. That's why you are not allowed to build it. And it was like 15 people just calling one after the other, just being really, really angry. And the best thing is all of them are like driving to work or something. And this woman is like trying to keep the vibes, going. So she's like, okay, don't get emotional at each other. What are you doing right now? Tell us. And the dude's like, oh yeah, I'm driving to work. Oh, the weather is horrible. You know what's more horrible? This idiot who tried to build a wall on public property. And he like goes back into fighting mode. And she's like, no, let's try to keep it casual. It was so entertaining. I loved it. That was my best day at work. I was just constantly listening to that shit. Kursk, hello, ready for referendum. You think they're learning Ukrainian right now? You think they're learning Ukrainian? I swear they're learning Ukrainian. The brains can't compute Ukrainian soldiers just taking their land and marching on the streets. Yeah, I actually feel that. They're just confused. They're like, Ukrainians taking over. All right. Does this mean Russia weak? No, I can't think Russia weak. Because if I think Russia weak, that means I have opinion on politics and I apolitical. But surely does not mean Russia strong. No, I cannot even ask that, because that would also mean I am experiencing political thinking and I cannot do that. So I feel every single Russian in the area right now is just like inside of the house being like, how do I exist while being not a political actor? Because the second you make yourself into a political actor, you carry some responsibility for the shit happening in your country, and they really, really don't want to do that. So yeah, overall, I'm hoping at least they learn something from this.
Like physically, the soldiers that have been captured, the techniques that have been destroyed, and the loss of image in the world stage, it has been devastating. Now, of course, things can change if Russia actually musters to send 10 to 15K.
Also, I feel they don't really give a shit about their image. I feel there's a part of them that's even proud of their image being destroyed because they see it as the rest of the world fearing them in a way. So, yeah, I think overall, so far, whenever I've heard people going, oh yeah, this is what Russians are thinking about this, I feel mostly I've disagreed, and I don't know if it comes from a deep, deep distrust towards Russians and like discrimination against them or whatever the fuck it is, but I genuinely don't think this is going to fundamentally change the way they view their own country. I must make a video asking Putin to save us. Yeah, in a way, it's like, fuck, I gotta remain apolitical. I gotta ask Putin what to do. That's the best thing, right? Because you're not actually taking the matters in your own hands. You're asking Putin to do something. They're not even trying to defend. You remember when Russia invaded Ukraine and you had Ukrainian civilians defending their own land? You had them preparing Molotovs. You don't see that shit in Russia because Russians just don't fucking know what to do. They have no idea what they are even supposed to be doing in this situation. Colored vodka, I wish. I wish it
there,
were.
which they usually do with these
vitamins.
But as of now, on the fourth day, it's looking pretty rosy for the Ukrainians. And just to get a little bit of laugh, I mean, you can watch this video yourself, but this is the first day of the incursion when Putin is gathering the emergency meeting. And Gerasimov is like, don't worry about it. We pushed the Ukrainians back. They are back in Ukraine. They have been stopped. And now 4 days later, Ukrainians are on 400 square kilometers of Russian soil, taking massive amount of prisoners. So it's a little bit of a funny to you here. Many people are asking photo proofs of things I say. Sometimes there are photos, sometimes not, but here is Nova Ivanovka. This is a Ukrainian fighter. This is Lyubimovka. This is a Ukrainian APC. There are photos of Ukrainians liberating, listen to this, 10 villages. 10 photos like that, 10 villages of the Kursk area. Insane area in 3 days. Photo proofs, everything. Now, since Russia doesn't have any QRF ready to deploy, and as we can see the Bukhanka convoy that they mustered, I wouldn't put my money on that. So they're actually calling Wagnerites back from Africa. Wagnerites are mostly fighting now in Mali and South Sudan, but they're calling them from Africa to fight back this Kursk invasion.
You would support, but Serbs did write articles about
the elite Russian fighters, TikTok soldiers, that's what they are. They were stationed in Sucha. And we have videos of them running from Sucha, just abandoning their posts. So when Kadyrovites run, you have to deploy the Wagnerites. That's what they're doing. But let's talk about Sucha. I always talk about, what is this Sucha? Well, it is the biggest city in the area of the incursion, and it is right now reported that half of the settlement is under the armed forces of Ukraine. Perhaps the other half also by the time you watch this video. Why is this important?
Croatian news.
It is a hub, transportation hub, gas hub. It's a hub in any sense of the way. Big railway goes through it. Big highway goes through it. And huge gas pipelines go through it. If I say huge, I mean the biggest, like everything goes through it. 50% of the gas exported by Russia to the European Union goes through Sucha. And if you think the European Union is not buying gas from Russia, then unfortunately we have Hungary in the European Union and some other countries who still do that in a minor scale, but still that amounts to tens of millions of USD per day. Not hundreds like it used to be, but tens of millions, which is still very bad. And they get their gas through this Sucha city, through this gas terminal. You see, these are all pipelines. And they are pumping gas to Europe.
It's free Europe.
What did Ukrainian forces do? They blew it up. They blew up the gas pipelines. Well, Hungary, for example, Viktor Orban, you know, Putin's ally in Europe, has had 2.5 years to disconnect themselves from the Russian gas. They have not done it. Now Ukraine has done it for them. Literally, physically for them. They just destroyed the gas pipeline, so Hungary cannot get gas from Russia anymore. That also could have been one of the goals, but also 30 kilometers or 30 miles actually from Sucha is Kursk nuclear power plant. If Ukrainians liberate that power plant, they have a huge bargaining chip if it would be needed in the future. Now, I will end this topic, but I will summarize. And one topic I haven't talked about in Kursk is the Ukrainian losses. I
don't know. I don't know if the nuclear power plant is going to be a useful chip. But again, I don't know if anything would be a useful chip for negotiations with Russia, because it's Russia and it's trying to fuck you up no matter what you do. So I don't know. I genuinely I can't see how what sort of a chip we could offer them that would make them comply with whatever documents they sign, if they do sign documents in the first place. I just trust the fuckers.
Definitely losses. Any attacking force always has losses. But we have confirmed losses, quite small, but I want to give them to you. The Ukrainians have losses, obviously, and because Ukraine maintains communication blackout, we will see only Ukrainian losses and not the Russian losses. So, at least one Marder, Germany infantry fighting vehicle, one American Bradley, multiple BMPs, and at least 2 Buk anti-air systems and logistical equipment were lost by the Ukrainians. Now, the biggest losses here are the 2 Buk systems. Air defense is always very precious, and when you lose it, it is always very painful. So this is losing 2 in 1 day, it's pretty bad for the Ukrainians. But compared to what the Russians have lost, it's not comparable. 10 villages have been liberated. About 300 prisoners of war have been taken, pieces of equipment captured, and I saw the list, it's about 10 pieces. Most of them, 5 of them were Ural trucks, just logistic trucks. Airplanes and helicopters shot down, and incursion about 30 kilometers into Russian soil. Now with that, I will end the Kursk topic, and now you know almost every bit of information. I mean, you know as much as I know, and I went through everything that I found online. So if there's anything new in the next 5-6 hours when you see it, it's because it just hasn't been posted yet, since this happens so fast. Now by the time you watch this video, it might be outdated already, but that's as good as I can get to. Now
Yeah, kinda, but like 300.
Let's jump to my home country, Estonia, for a moment, because there is a change.
Estonia.
Estonia and Russia, right? We have a long border together. Russians who live in Estonia have families in Russia, and they travel back and forth all the time. Latvia and Lithuania did that a little bit before us, and Finland also. They closed the border. Now Estonia is also doing this. Estonia has introduced a full customs control at the border with Russia. From today, every person, vehicle and luggage, as well as cargo, will be inspected at the checkpoint. Previously, such inspection was selective. The tightening of customs control was explained by the fight against the importance of sanctioned goods to Russia. So now the Iron Curtain is forming beneath our eyes, on our eyes. In 30, 40 years, when they talk about the reformation of the Iron Curtain, this is how it happens. Finland closed the border, Latvia closed the border, Lithuania, Poland, now Estonia. Boom, we have the new Iron Curtain. And now, my friends, I'll bring to you the butchering of Buy Me a Coffee monthly members. If you do like what I do, if you want...
Vicky won't be able to travel to clubs in Moscow on the week. Ew. Ew. Have you seen how Russians party? Ew. I have to show you something cursed. I have to show you something cursed. And I'm very sorry that you have to see this. Shit, not that. This. Have you seen these images? Have you seen Zakharova's wedding? Have you seen these? Have you seen these? Because these make me think that Russians party the way Serbs party, and that makes me think I would rather cut myself into pieces and throw myself into Danube than do any sort of partying with these types of people. My dude. My man. You just know a part of this wedding was a singer with humongous tatas that was slipping out of her dress, and she was singing the trashiest songs, and old drunk men were putting cash money in her bra. You just know that was a part of that wedding. That is so fucking cheap. Should just be banned from the country. Q Club flashbacks, yeah, shit like that, kid. Ew. Grown-ass people, though. Ew. Ew. Oh. I was in Harem once. I went to Harem. Harem was very similar to that shit. Belgrade is less than 2 hours away. No. We're going to party in Vukovar or something, but Belgrade? Belgrade? Illegal. No. Tell me about a singer with big tatas. Yeah, it's a staple of cheap Serb weddings, really. I was in a couple. I've got some family in Serbia. It's a staple of their weddings. There's a singer as a part of it, and she's usually really well built, and she has humongous titties. And when the night starts, she's already, not really singing too well, but you ignore it. But as the night goes on, everyone's getting more and more drunk. And at the end of it, it's 3 to 4 in the morning. And you just have this singer standing on the stage, screaming into her microphone. Yeah, pevaljka, exactly. She's horrible at doing what she does, but she has tatas, so no one really cares. And all drunken men are piling up around and drinking their beer and cheering for her. It is one of the most disgusting sights I have witnessed this in Croatia once, and it was, for those of you who know, the very religious place of Ajmaš, relatively nearby, where they have a huge religious thing every single year. At one of the clubs, that the year that I was there, they had a woman like that, and she was singing, and there was a bunch of old rotten men putting cash money in her bra, and I was so disgusted by the sight that I literally went home immediately after. Genuinely disgusting to witness. Luckily the bar closed later, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, just like fully primitive way of acting. How many girls with fake boobs and lips there is in Belgrade? You would be surprised. You know when I stopped being surprised by that? One time I was on Instagram, and it was, you know how it once in a while Instagram refreshes your algorithm? So instead of getting stuff that you are actually interested in, you start getting local stuff, right? And then you have to fix the algorithm again. One time when they did this, I went to the Explore page and it was a picture of PlayStation, like on one side, and on the other side there was a woman, and she had like huge, big, fake titties, and she had a fake tan, and she had those huge lips. So it was like PlayStation, and it was her, and the question was, which one would you choose? And now me seeing this post, of course, I was like, well, people are gonna choose the PlayStation. Of course they are, right? So I went into the comments because I was like, I wonder if over there in Serbia, they also are as misogynistic as people here are, because I fully expected to see a lot of misogynistic comments. Surprisingly, people were fucking praising the woman. People were praising the woman. People were going, yeah, like, oh, I need something like that to hug at night, shit like that. Like, what are you talking about? The fuck do you mean hugging something like that? Are you insane? You're fucking insane. Can you imagine that? Like, you go to bed at night and you have to, like, hug humongous tatas, and they're like hard and plastic and everything, boinky boinky boink around your bed. Are you genuinely insane? Who the fuck would say something like that? And then I was getting more Serb shit recommended to me because of that one post, and that's when I learned that they are really, really into cheap plastic surgery. Really, really into it. If you look at most of their TV shows where they have like Zvezda Grande and shit like that, most women there are really bad at choosing what plastic surgery to get, but for some reason people are really into that. Like, it's weird as fuck. Nose rings? I'm not even that against nose rings. So I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. It's one of those that I like. I look at it and I'm like, hey. Don't have to come up with excuses why your feed looks like mine. Hey, I fixed it. I think right now it's like proper. I think. I hope it's proper. Let me see. Please be proper. Please be proper. Please be proper. It actually is. It actually genuinely is. Oh, I saw one post from the Olympics. Yeah, it isn't. I'm seeing K-pop though, so. You want to put a poll? That's on your girl. Hey, that's too. Hey, yo, Gustavo, we're looking at Zakharova's wedding photos. So, kind of looking into that, you know, mysterious Russian soul, I guess. That's what we're doing. Leash, proper leash is povrac. Wait, I wanted to click on some shit and I didn't click on some shit, and now I want to go and click. Nose rings are great on cattle. Proper. I cannot discriminate against people for doing piercings though, because I feel if I had more money in my late teens, early 20s, look, I cannot tell you that I would not be having some very questionable piercings and some very questionable tattoos. All right, like I recently logged into my old Pinterest account, and the stuff I saved under tattoo inspiration, let's just say I'm happy I grew up really poor. I'm happy I grew up really, really, really poor, because that would be a pain in the ass to remove, all right? Nipple. Oh, I was thinking about nipple rings. You know what's the problem with nipple rings, though? I heard that there's a fuck up they can do when they like pierce your nipples. They can pierce through your nerves. And like a specific one that they pierce, it can hurt like hell. Because if you read people's comments on having, you know, nipple piercings, getting nipple piercings, and what they thought about the surgery, you have like people who felt basically no pain really. And then you have people who felt pain for like months after the procedure. So that's what actually like pushed me away from the idea. There's a girl that has DB on her back and a small camera. Like lower back? Are we talking lower back? What are we talking about? Because I like that idea. That's actually cute. Hey though, Ukrainians, my dude. If confirmed, you never know. You never know. I would guess this is in Ukraine to point to Kursk region. Oh, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Leave me alone. When you jog with nipple rings, won't it be extra bad shuffing? Oh, like... Well, you see, I don't jog, so I feel... Yeah. That's a problem for people who do jogging. Why would you do jogging? Are you normal? Why do you jog? Who the fuck does jogging? No one in
On
their
Tuesday
right mind.
morning, hundreds of Ukrainian or pro-Ukrainian troops launched an incursion into the Russian oblast of Kursk. While it's hard to know exactly what's going on,
To be
thanks
fair,
to the fog of war,
no hate to joggers. I was jogging for like 2 days. It was while I really, really wanted to be exercising. I was jogging for 2 days. It was it was an experience. It was an experience, really. Never did it after that. But it was alright. It actually makes you feel rather good. So, you know, I know some people who started doing jogging and then they moved up to doing like more cardio-based exercises like that, and then they moved on to doing marathons. And there's a problem. No, they are savages. They are savages, but there's a problem with like joggers and runners. And it's that when you do it to a certain extent, it becomes a part of your personality, and there is nothing in my existence that I am annoyed more by than people like that. Because I have 3 friends who were taken away from me because they became marathon people. And I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Like, there's nothing to talk to them about. You literally go, oh yeah, well, I was watching this TV show recently. And they're going to be like, oh yeah, I don't really watch TV shows anymore because sitting makes me feel like a piece of shit. What I actually do is I run, and then I run more, and that's what makes me feel alive. You genuinely like can't. You talk about like food you made, and they're gonna turn it into preparing the best food for jogging. So I think personally, I think I'm kind of discriminating against them, and I think that's why I never really put too much effort in. I was scared I'm gonna become like that, so I was always like holding myself back. Yeah, like vegans, true. Like, you admire them, but at the same time you're like, I wish this part of your personality was not a part of our interactions. I wish we could have conversations without that. Like, please. Nice nature. I go crazy doing it on the tracks, in track and field. Oh, that actually sounds fun. It actually sounds really, really fun. I like the idea of hiking too. I like the idea of like going around. I've learned it from true crime shows, right? But like, I love how in so many countries you have those hiking paths, and then you just get a little map, and you're out there in the forest, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go hike on this path, and you just like go, and there's several kilometers of forest where you're, you know, walking around and exploring and shit like that. I kind of like that. I like the idea of it. Vegetarians can't run. They don't have the energy. They lack protein. True. True that. Vegan friend. He brings me food to work sometimes. So I have to eat his vegan crap. Honestly, he's a good cook, so it's not bad at all. Oh, nice. Oh, nice. It's impressive. I did try vegan food several times. I bought it in stores several times when they had like vegan food items. And sometimes when we go into restaurants or something, I'm gonna pick the vegan option if I feel like experimenting. And yeah, genuinely not bad at all. Not bad at all. They're like actually good at cooking. So, do you really like media-induced paranoia? I guess. I don't know what it is, to be honest. I've never looked too much into it. I don't know what it is. I know I was into it ever since I was a kid, really. I think it started with my, you know, reading the tragedies in newspapers phase. I remember specifically I was in high school when I learned the term true crime exists. And I learned that, you know, what it is about. And I was like, damn, this is perfect because this is exactly the content I was looking for. And I don't know when it started. Arousal and fear have similar symptoms. They do actually, isn't it a thing? If you go on a first date with someone, you should scare them shitless because their heart rate is going to go up. And they don't know if the heart rate is going up because they're terrified or if it's going up because they really want to fuck you. So, yeah, if you play it right, you got a date and also someone to fuck later. Please, since I make coolant for a living, people of Croatia, please don't go vegan. You could be making vegan coolant. Make a vegan version. Make it with like mushrooms. Have you seen mushroom coffee? Have you guys seen mushroom coffee? I saw mushroom coffee recently. I got an advertisement for it, but it's rather expensive. So I'm not really getting it anytime soon. But yeah, apparently it's like really, really good and it doesn't even taste like mushrooms. It tastes like coffee. So I wonder if you could make something similar. Try that. Does Croatia have vegan cevapi? I haven't tried vegan cevapi. I did try vegan pljeskavica, which is like the bigger version of it. It was good. It was good. I don't know what I put into it, but it was good. Also, you know what's good? But I don't know if it's like properly vegan. But you know what's good? When you go to McDonald's and you get the vegan part of the menu, like genuinely tasty. It tastes like a proper hamburger. You can't really tell the difference. It's genuinely good. So yeah, I don't know what they put into it. I don't know how it's done. A much better take than saying if you cannot make a woman aroused, make her very afraid. You gotta find a way to say that without making it seem very cancelable. You know what I mean? You gotta find a way to put that into words without getting the FBI knocking on your doors. Yeah, it sounds a bit rapey. So you gotta muddy the waters a little bit. The specific, when I was looking at the dating advice in question, the specific idea was that you take your date to like an amusement park and you take them to a roller coaster. Because, you know, the heart rate's gonna go up and they're gonna think it's going up because of you, but it's actually going up because they're scared shitless. Or like take them to watch a horror movie. Talking about taking them to watch a horror movie, there's the new Alien movie coming out soon. So let's hope it's gonna be a really, really good horror. because I'm taking my boyfriend to go and see it, and I'm hoping that he gets so scared he will not know if he wants to fuck me or if he is terrified of the aliens, and then I might get lucky. Yeah, it's not a rapey vibe if you do it properly. Roller coasters are fun in general. I fully disagree with that. I absolutely 100% disagree with that. I think roller coasters should be used only and solely as a means of torturing someone. I think if you did a crime, a lie, if you're annoyed, if you're annoying as a person, if you're a weed user, if you're a vegan, if you're a runner / jogger, I think you should be put on a roller coaster and you should be forced to take like 10 laps in it, just to kind of scare the annoying part of your personality away. What if he gets confused and thinks he's afraid of you and wants to bang the alien? See, that reminds me of a conversation I've had with him, but it's not really related to this. But have you guys played Mass Effect? Because I need some Mass Effect losers. Because I was researching recently the question of whether Asari can have physical sex. You know what Asari is? You can bang both. Thank you, Slippers. Thank you for volunteering as a tribute. You know what Asari is? These are like Asaris in Mass Effect. I'm really scared of that. Like, one of these Googles. You Google Asari and you get a not safe for work image. I don't even know what you Google, like character name or something, but they give you a page on Google that is straight up from Rule 34. But basically, I don't know if they have physical sex, and I've been researching it for a while before going to sleep, but then I fell asleep, so I don't know the answer. Because basically, there's a possibility that they cannot have physical sex, which would mean that Mordin Solus, the man who has refused to fuck me in Mass Effect, genuinely cannot physically have sex with me, therefore he has not betrayed me. But I don't know. I can't figure out if they can have physical sex or not. And I asked my boyfriend about it because he's a gamer boy and he introduced me to Mass Effect, and I was like, surely he knows about this. No, he doesn't. He doesn't know. He doesn't know shit. He's like, yeah, I'm not sure. What do you mean you're not sure? You have to know. Sorry, Rule 34. No. There's one of them. Okay. There's a Rule 34 image that pops up on Google when you look for Asari, and it's her getting fucked by an anchor. Elcor. I completely jumbled her name. Elcor. You know what Elcor is? Now I'm scared of like showing you this one. But it's these. It's these. Alright, none of these are not safe for work. So you can actually look at this one. It's these humongous beings. Alright? So yeah, when you Google shit like this, be very, very careful. Attention span is not high enough for a game that lasts 150 hours to finish. But have you considered that you can fuck aliens in the game? Have you thought about that? Have you thought it's 150 hours, but like a part of this goes towards fucking aliens? There's aliens you can fuck. There's aliens. There's extraterrestrials, and you can fuck them, and some of them are really, really hot. Consider that. Think about that for a while. Not sure if Elcor is better or worse than an anchor. You guys know the song. Now we're completely switching the topic. But it's called Fucked by an Anchor, and it's Hailstorm. You guys know Hailstorm? I don't know if I'm allowed to play this. I don't know if this was copyright, but like...
Fuck you, you're a fucking wanker. We're gonna punch you right in the balls. Fuck you with a fucking anchor. You're all cunts, so fuck you all. Fuck you, you're
It's pirate metal.
wanker.
It's pirate metal. I used to love these dudes. Come on. One thing from Destiny streams is that gooning for 150 hours might not be a good idea. Fair. Man gave his entire life to do Wikipedia research. And that's what you learned. But yeah, we're basically ending the stream soon, so I'm sorry for the chaos. British citizens? I don't know who that is. I have no idea who it is, but I'm gonna look them up. I was mostly listening to these dudes because they have one song. And I don't know which one it is. But there's a music video and there's women with titties and they get really, really drunk. So, yeah. Punctuate survive. Ah, fuck, I forgot about that. Are they still like making music? Do they still exist? Oh, they're having a concert soon. They have a new music video release, new song. Shut off their dicks, nice. Got called by cops. Oh, what? Man, I totally forgot about them. I'll have to look at their music. Fully forgot they exist. Yeah, 10 years ago they were huge. Oh, I was like everyone I did was listening to them and singing their little songs. Oh my man, and the profanities. The profanity, oh shit. These dudes are nice though, they're just pirates. They don't really do the profanity shit too much. Okay, you know what I think? I think profanities in English don't sound like profanities. I think that's what it is. I think English language is the language for pussies. So when they swear in their songs, it doesn't sound like crankshafts are swearing in their songs. Because English doesn't have swears like we do. He's just saying fuck over and over. What's that? What's that? Come on. A child in Croatia can swear more than that. Cats?
Okay, ready again? Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, that's cute. My phone called my mom from my pocket and she heard swearing. So she swatted the clubs? And she thought I was in trouble? Your mother! Your mother! What's it called? This gives me clank-shredded vibes. So this sounds, this to me sounds more like swearing than fucked by an anchor. No, magazine, to me this is more I don't even know why. Fair. Yeah, genuinely, more crankshafter vibes than the pilot. I like the woman though. That's adorable. That is absolutely adorable.
It's raining bullshit tonight.
What's this?
It's raining bullshit tonight. So go outside and open wide. It's raining bullshit tonight.
I like that.
All you ladies and fellas, go grab your umbrellas. Turn them upside down. Stick them way up your holes and open it deep inside. Woo! It's raining bullshit tonight. You might as well quit open wide. Stuff that shit deep inside. Spit it right into my mouth, 'cause that's how it sounds. It's raining bullshit tonight.
Oh, I love this.
It's raining bullshit tonight. So go outside and open wide. It's raining bullshit tonight.
Nice. I get my Spotify mixed up with someone else's. Hey, do you have any good Spotify playlists? I got Spotify Premium yesterday, the 1 free month. I grabbed it, and then it wasn't working, and then I had to like delete the entire app and then download it again for it to work, because it was playing like the first 3 seconds of songs and then stopping them. So yeah, basically I didn't use it at all. I went to sleep. 20s, 30s, 40s and their way of doing it. Yeah, they just knew how to pack it nice. They knew how to pack it nice. It wasn't so openly vulgar sometimes, kind of like that. National anthem of Russia. Yes! Heck yeah! One short playlist for stuff I want to learn how to sing. Oh, nice! Oh, nice. I had a playlist and it's just like shit I liked. It's just a bunch of songs that I liked. And now I'm like planning to actually make a proper playlist. But yeah, went to sleep yesterday and didn't. Also, oh fuck, 1 hour video. I can't be streaming for an entire hour. I have to be going. I have to be going. I have to go. I have to go. Let me see what we have. And then let me see what we have in the news. And then I'll be leaving, my dude. I'll be leaving. I'll be going. I'll be running. Vlad Vexler, fuck. Do you want to see what Vlad thinks?
Let's talk about the big...
Do we want to see? It will fit on a playlist named Shit I Like. Yeah, see. I just liked hundreds of vids and it works for me. I'm kinda... sometimes I use it to recommend me new stuff and it works really well. But other times I try to use it to also recommend me new stuff and it just... it gives me shit. It gives me bullshit. So, yeah. I don't know how to properly, like, does it have an algorithm? I guess it does have an algorithm because I did see it, like, recommends me shit based on what I usually listen to. Additional security assistance for Ukraine. Stinger missiles, ammunition for HIMARS. Artillery ammunition, multi-mission radars. Tom missiles, Javelin, 84 anti-armor systems. Whoa. Ambulances, small arms ammunition, demolitions, equipment and munitions, equipment to protect critical national infrastructure, spare parts, ancillary. The fuck is that? Services, training, transportation. Alright. Ancillary. The fuck is ancillary? Providing necessary support to the primary activities or operation of an organization. Oh, it's like support it. Alright. Dodano. Yeah. Dodano. It asked you what you like when you signed up for the first algorithm adjustment. Oh, shit. Who the fuck knows when I did that? I made my account a crap load of time ago. Fair. You know what I have to do? I have to go into our Discord because we have like music part in the Discord. And I wasn't there for a while. I'll have to go
Biggest
there.
invasion of Russia by
I'll go there
conventional
and I see what
forces
you
since
people
the
listen to,
Second
and
World
then
War. As of
I'll
this
just
recording,
see
Ukraine
if you have
controls
anything
over
good.
400 square kilometers of Russian territory. A feature of Putin's imperial project is its borderless.
There's a
Not
Discord.
just in the sense of not having boundaries
have a-
that stop you from going over to the neighbor and taking their stuff, but also in the sense of not being
Oh, we have it.
aware of your own boundaries. Putin doesn't sharply distinguish
yeah,
between
true. That's
Kursk
proper.
region and
That's proper, that's
Ukrainian
proper. You know, when I logged into
If
my
his
Discord
regime's
yesterday, I was doing my class on digital drawing, and we have to like you do it online over Zoom, and then every once in a while he's like, hey, send me your works on Discord, and then you have to send them to Discord. And yesterday evening, I figured out I'm not even like logged into Discord on my own PC. I wasn't even fucking logged in. I haven't used it. He was like, are you guys sending? And I was like, yeah, sure. I just have to figure out how to get into my account. And I don't know my own password. So like it took time for me to figure out that you can scan the bullshit, the code to get in. Did you know you can do that? It's like a really fancy process, but yeah. Technology introduced. Fuck, what did I want to click on? I forgot. Leonid Dragozhin Street. I don't know if I did. What is it?
security
I'm interested.
depended on it, it happily bombed
Roasting.
Kursk
Yeah.
instead of Ukraine.
Yeah, QR
and
with the
neither
phone.
do the Russian people.
How cool is
really.
that?
The locals feel the
I
difference,
had
but
no
most
idea
of
you
the
can
Russian
do that.
population doesn't
'Cause
care.
I never know
It's
my
like
passwords.
a pinch onto a
So
body
that was
that has
immensely
received an
helpful.
anesthetic injection. Doubtless, Ukraine's action has several purposes, but if one of them is to wake up the Russian population, that ain't gonna happen with an invasion of this size. You might say,
Thank you. I think it ain't gonna happen at all. I think he could have stopped the sentence right there. If the goal of this is to wake up the Russian population, that ain't gonna happen. Dot. End of the video. I feel that would be really good. I feel that would properly send the message to people with delusions about waking up Russians. Same thing for Steam? Bullshit. Fuck, now I gotta... Now I actually have to go and get it on my phone. Bullshit, I had no idea. I never know my Steam password. I never got it on my phone. Now I need to get it on my phone. Shit, nice, thank you. Don't want class to see your 4 channels. They can't see what I'm posting on other Discord channels, right? I did change my name though, so I'm not called Wikidex in the Clash channel. I'm using my actual name because, you know, so they know who the fuck I am. But yeah, they can't see what I'm posting and they can't see I'm hating on Russians in my free time, which I wouldn't even be, you know, silent about if the conversation went into political themes. Unfortunately, it doesn't really go there at all. Regular army defending Kursk is being joined by local militias, as in men with hunting rifles. This is what the policy of bringing the war to Russian sport is more likely to produce, especially one sends unit with the names like Nachtingale to attack Russian territory. Propaganda will peddle, and even in its absence, people will see it as NATO's invasion of Ukraine's. A similar miscalculation regarding the local reaction informed the Russian command at the start of full-out aggression in 2022. Wait, I don't agree with that. It will be interesting to see August polls and Russian recruitment figures in the same month. If Putin ponders announcing mobilization, this might be his best moment. There is no question, of course, whether Ukraine can defend itself the way it deems right, but what it gains by doing what it does is a legitimate question. He talks about the miscalculation. The way I understand it, he's trying to compare this to Russians, thinking they can just easily march into Ukraine and that Ukrainians are going to be like throwing flowers at their feet and shit like that. No. No. I don't think Ukrainians at all were like, oh, Russians are going to be so happy. Oh, ordinary Russians are against Putin and they're going to be so happy to see us enter bullshit. bullshit. No. No, like if this was actually a NATO invasion, and if you genuinely had like German soldiers entering, I could see that. I could see that if you had Germans and the Frenchies and I don't know, whoever the fuck you had in the West, the Americans, going together side by side into Russia, being like, yay, Russians, ordinary Russians, we're coming to liberate you from Putin. I could see them being deluded on this. Ukrainians, though? No. No chance. No chance. Dumb, stupid opinion. No chance Ukrainians were this deluded on this. They know what Russians are, and no. No Frenchies as they're advancing, not falling back. That too. That too. Absolutely. Propaganda will peddle, and even in its absence, people will see it as NATO invasion, not Ukraine's. Also, I feel he's pretending people matter. I feel he's pretending the view Russian people see this matters, when this should be one of the most irrelevant things in the entire situation. It genuinely doesn't matter what sort of shit Russians are choosing to eat when it comes to this invasion. What matters are the military goals. So specifically, what do you want to do with this invasion? What is our goal? What are we trying to do? Which we don't know. Ukrainians know for sure. We don't know. That's fine. What we do know is that their goal is not to fucking change the minds of the Russian population. Russians are not going to be useful to anyone, really, for like 2 to 3 generations to come. I don't think anyone should be giving a shit about what delusions the Russians are building about this.
Say, why not? Surely more information for Russians about what they're doing in Ukraine and what blowback they're receiving onto Russian territory should wake them up. But the answer is no. The Russian people are not ignorant of the truth. They are resistant to it. Accepting the truth would mean accepting that their entire arrangement with politics, which they believe is unchangeable, has ended in catastrophe. Again, they don't believe they can change anything. It's a state of deep depoliticization. They're not ignorant of the truth. They are resistant to it. Putin's own indifference to the Kursk region is staggering but expected. Here he is giving citizens who got displaced $115.
Решение о единовременной выплате по 10 тысяч рублей гражданам, которые в этом нуждаются.
And these
$115 illustrate better than any words Putin's indifference to his country's borders, his cavalier attitude to control over the monopoly of organized violence on Russian territory, his disdain for his own citizens. This is the grossest kind of height of political irresponsibility. Russian propaganda in response to Ukraine's invasion has been caught between politicization and depoliticization. Politicization says, wow, this is a big deal. Depoliticization says, there is nothing to see.
The clubs that are not
Alexander
infested by the youth.
Dugin, the intellectual entrepreneur who doesn't lead anything, but is a smart, preemptive follower of where the Kremlin is drifting, put it poignantly, if not comically. He said, there are no more borders between Russia and Ukraine. There is only the combat contact line. This is how we should think. Serious people don't pay any attention to borders at the time of war. Meanwhile, Mr. Apti Aludinov, the commander of the Chechen Akhmat battalion, got into trouble.
DP! Have you seen the Christian dating site? Have you seen the Christian dating site in Croatia? Have you seen the Christian one? Download that. Get that one. I downloaded it for a while to see what it's... Yeah, there's a Christian dating site. You gotta pay to see... Basically, you download it and it asks you a bunch of questions. And the reason I downloaded it is because I heard there's some interesting questions in it. So then I was like, let me go see. But the thing is, you gotta pay to see what the other people have answered. Because my plan was, I'm going to download it, and then I'll see what the locals have been answering, because some of the questions are very interesting. It was like, do you think it's okay to beat your children? Do you think it's okay to beat your children? Or like if you enter a relationship with someone and it turns out that they cannot have children, would you leave them? So I wanted to see what the locals have been answering, but I have to pay to see the answers. And I'm not that curious. I am curious. But you know, I'm bullshitting. One day I'm gonna download it again and pay for it just to see. Just to fucking see. I don't even remember how much cash money. But it's a Christian one. It's a Christian one. So, yeah, I'm very, very interested. So, talking about singles, maybe get that. Fuck, wait, I don't know what it's called. Let me find it. Wait, let me play you Vlad.
With Z military bloggers for letting the Ukrainian forces through. And here is his ludicrous account of what happened. They calculated everything really well. They did their work correctly. But they failed to realize that God loves Russia and is unlikely to let bad things happen to our country. But make no mistake, while an invasion of this size is ludicrously normalizable
I saw an
by the
advertisement
Russians,
for it on
it
Twitter.
still adds one more mine underneath the Putin regime. It's a small mine, but its import is big. It's a mine that impacts Russia's chances of staying together because unlike
Can I
theatrical
legally do
Twitter
that?
activists who often make naive arguments about Russia falling apart, Mr. Putin is himself diligently at work at increasing the chances
Holy
of
date.
Russia
I think
not
it's holy
staying
date.
together by undermining
it's
the
holy date.
monopoly over organized violence on Russian territory, by calling Ukrainian territory Russian and thereby bringing war onto Russian
Yeah,
soil,
holy date,
and by,
holy
by
date.
his brutal assaults on Ukraine, forcing.
Hypothetically, can I legally download the app and pay for it and then show you what people are answering on stream? Can I do that? I probably could if I like hide the part where the name is, right? Like the name and the profile image of the person. I probably could, right? I'm not supposed to be doxing people. I'm like genuinely interested what I said about beating children. You can't imagine. I'm so interested because like it's Christians. It's Christians. And I don't have a lot of trust in Christians. I just I end up in glass. Shit, yeah. True. True. Oh fuck yeah. Okay, yeah, that's so some Ukrainian degenerate streamers did that on Twitch. Oh. So I could be doing that. People can obviously line their questions through. They're Christians. Like on a Christian dating site. Do you think they feel safe enough not to lie? Do you think they feel... You know how like at the start of the stream we were mocking Russians on Telegram? Because they have Telegram channels where they are bitching about Ukrainians invading Russia. And they think they're safe. They think all Ukrainians are banned on the channels and they can cry there safely. But they can't because Ukrainians are watching and laughing at them. I wonder if that's the situation, like all the Christians at one spot and they feel they're being safe. And I'm there on the side just like, oh, man, I gotta do that. 30 Tinder matches, bro. Dude, go, respond. Respond to like 3 now. Respond. Send hi. Like a little smiley
Ukraine in
face.
the war of survival to conduct operations on Russian soil. And here I want to
Send them
make
a
an
heart.
intervention as a moral philosopher because I think
Send them
we
a
tend
dick
to
pic.
over-moralize Ukraine's attacks on
No, you
Russian
just like
territory.
take one dick pic and send
Asking
it to all
each
of them. You
time
don't have to
Ukraine
take 3
attacks
separate ones.
Russia, was this
It's not a lot of work
just?
at all.
Was this ethical? Risks being a moral misunderstanding of war. A denial of how far ethics and justice have to get out of the way in an existential conflict. Ukraine's
the streamer
attacks
where
on
you
Russian
found them and
territory are
he opened
certainly
the
not
site.
unjust. Rather, they are neither just nor unjust. They're a product of an emergency situation in which other values have to prevail, such as Ukraine's security, national survival, and sheer necessity. Let's stay with this business of the war moving onto Russian soil. You've heard me talk about it for 2 years.
talked about losing his virginity in front of 1,500 people. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. I do it here talking in front of 30, all right? And that's better.
Yes, if you know me well. But sometimes it's worth reheating old cabbage.
2.8.
The worse
Files
the war
on
is
Google
going
Apps.
for Ukraine, the more
It's because,
manpower shortage
Christian
challenges
dating
Ukraine
sites
has, for instance,
tend
the more
to
likely
turn
it'll
into
be
a
to move
sausage
the war
fest.
onto Russian soil. The less we
It
arm
starts as
Ukraine,
Christians
the
seeking
more
each other, and
likely
it turns
Ukraine
into
will be to
men.
move the war onto Russian
Just a
soil.
bunch of
I
lonely
really
men
agree with friends of the channel,
trying to find
Anders
a woman.
Nielsen, when he argues
And they're just
that
lonely men.
underarming
else.
Ukraine actually risks
Heja, klassiker.
escalating the war because it might force Ukraine into more improvisatory actions on Russian
Christians on
territory.
point before
Sometimes
marriage?
this is a possible criticism of the Biden administration. An excess of caution can make the world a more dangerous
trying to
place.
find a
And this
way
holds for nuclear escalation
to
too.
say
What
nicely
the Kursk invasion demonstrates
that
is
Christians
that
happen
when
to be
things
the
get
biggest
desperate for
hoes I
Ukraine,
have met.
Kremlin nuclear
Men and
blackmail
women.
no
Men
longer
and women, they're
works
just
on
hoes.
it, even
They're
though,
just-
of course, it
they're
does
just sluts.
continue to
Christians
work
are
on the
sluts.
West.
It's
Whatever
really easy to
outcome
get them in bed
Ukraine's
with you.
invasion of the Kursk region takes, it's a message
Might
to
be the,
Russia
like, sexual
from the
repression.
future. For the few Russians who are politically
Because, like, you know
awake,
how the
it's
forbidden
an
fruit
echo of a Russia to come.
is
But
the one
let's
that
not be
attracts you the
naive.
most.
The fact that Putin's project
But
has
to
nothing
Christians,
to
all
offer the
sex
world except
outside
violence
of marriage
and
is forbidden
bullshit
fruit.
does
So it
mean
all
that
attracts
it
them.
can't
You know, it's not
sustain
like a
itself
normal person. You're
in
like,
the long
I
term.
could go out
But
and fuck
this
something
does
right
not
now.
necessarily
Easy.
translate into
Not
good news
interesting,
for Ukraine.
not
One
risking
possible
anything,
outcome
really.
that the West
But
should
to a
really
Christian, it's
try
like,
to
oh,
avoid
am I gonna get
is
burned,
a
huh?
situation where
So
Russia's
they go and it's like the most
self-immolation
exciting thing ever.
drags
It's
Ukraine
really, really easy
down
to get them
with
in
it,
bed,
with
genuinely.
neither
Sluts,
states
all of them.
being viable in the future.
Sluts
a
even when they're
non-viable
married.
Ukraine
Just
as a
sluts.
result of Putin's invasion
The biggest
is as
Christians you know right now,
acceding to a
most religious people you
Russo-Chinese
know right now,
quasi-alliance
sluts.
inappropriately trying to move borders in Europe. Now, to keep my speech ethically responsible, I've stayed out of speculating about Ukraine's purposes. But whatever Ukraine's purposes, they are acting against a background where talk of peace is increasingly prominent. To understand more about what sustainable peace might be, and to understand the risks of pushing Ukraine into a fraught peace that...
Thank you, Vlad. Vlad is going to advertise in the next video, which I respect, but like I know what he's going to say, so. We had 2 married ones, don't know about that. I mean, look, some of the most religious parts of my family were also the most slutty ones. So, college kids put it in. And to avoid having sex, just have a friend jump on the bed for them. Is that like a Mormon thing? Because I feel Mormons are the ones especially fucked up when it comes to sex. I feel they're like so challenged when it comes to that. For a while, when I was in high school, I was in that edgy atheist phase, you know, that you go through. And I used to be following this one anti-Mormon channel on YouTube. And he was often showing like Mormon propaganda. Man, that shit would be wild. There was this one story about like a woman and she meets someone on a date and they have sex, you know, like outside of marriage, of course. It's their first date and everything. And she falls into depression later and she kills herself. Because she had sex with this man. She felt so bad in front of God that she killed herself. And there was like a whole pamphlet with it about this woman who had sex. Like, she chose to. It's not like she was forced to something. She and this dude wanted to have sex, so they did it. But she felt so bad and so guilty that she fell into depression and killed herself. And they're telling this story to like teenagers to be like, hey, yeah, don't be having sex because you're gonna end up at this woman. Installed the damn app. Hey, good luck. If you find some Christian hoes, you know, I hope you think of this stream while you're banging them because I sent you to that site. Think of me. Think of me. Also, I have to end the stream. So listen, thank you for joining today. We'll be updating you on the stream schedule for next week and also for tomorrow, because I don't know when I work tomorrow. But yeah, next week we should be having proper streams Monday, Friday. So makes it sound like a threesome. Well, it's a threesome, but I'm there in spirit. It's like, you know how always when you have sex, Jesus is there in spirit and he's judging you. I'm there, but like I'm not judging you. I'm cheering for you. I'm going, yeah, go balls deep. So yeah, all right. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your weekend. Dylan Burns is starting his streams, I think, tomorrow. So I'm here to remind you that he is starting his streams tomorrow. He wrote on Twitter that today is his last day of vacation, break. I don't know how he wrote it. But yeah, make sure to watch him because he's amazing and you need to support that man. And yeah, that's that. Stay strong, stay healthy, drink enough water, fuck some Christians. See you on the next